Whoa. Hold up just a second. All right. Sorry about that, everybody. Welcome to Victoris Triumph Series Week 4. My name is Daniel. I'm joined today by Justin. Justin, how are you feeling tonight?
Good, how are you? I'm excited to watch some League of Legends.
Yeah, I am too. I think tonight's going to be a good night. We had a bit of the rumbling in the meta with a patch over the last week. So what are some of your thoughts on what's happened there?
I'm expecting to see a guaranteed Zeri picker ban. I've seen Zeri nonstop. I've seen a ton of Corki, Victor, Xin Zhao everywhere, and maybe we'll see some of that new LS spice that we've been seeing in the LCS with some enchanters mid, maybe a little less sinning out there nowadays with the Renekton and Gnarl
That would definitely be fun. We always like to see those weird off-meta things sometimes. It helps keep the game fresh. I know I love to see them. So, unfortunately, my favorite position, jungle, has kind of just been the same over the past few weeks. We've just seen Xin Zhao, sometimes Jarvan, and then more Xin Zhao. So, I don't think that's going to change tonight.
No, we might see a Diana here and there. We've seen the resurrection of the Diana and Yasuo combo recently, especially a lot in the LCS and the LEC especially. We could see some new things come out, especially with the new patches. Hopefully, we'll maybe get to see some assassin stuff again. I was actually a fan of the Talon mid or the Talon jungle stuff. I know not everybody was, but it was definitely very satisfying to watch a Talon jump a wall and insta-shot a mid laner. So it's always fun.
Yeah. Yeah, one-shots can just be really, really satisfying to watch, especially when your team does them. So hopefully we get to see that tonight.
It is never fun to be on the receiving end of that, though.
No, it's not. If you've ever been one-shot by Zed, you're just about ready to slam your keyboard right there. You're like, what the heck? What was that?
I definitely haven't knocked off my fair share of keycaps playing in mid lane against Zed. So it's actually become my permaban at this point. It's so toxic. It's not even fun to play against anymore.
Yeah, definitely. But I don't think we're gonna see much of that tonight. I think I would honestly be surprised if we don't see an Enchantress mid because the meta is just leaning that way, and OSU tends to. They definitely pick a little bit aggressively like that in the early games from what I've seen. And then if it doesn't work out, what I've seen from OSU is then they go back to their comfort picks. So
especially, however, we won't have to worry about the Janna Smite top nonsense that we've been seeing over the last couple of weeks. Riot killed that this patch. I believe that patch is out now. For those who don't know, the update is if a team has 2 or more support items already purchased, i.e. Relic Shield or I'm failing to remember the other one. Doesn't matter.
It's Steel. I don't remember.
The Pauldrons, yeah, the Pauldrons. If you have 2 of those items, it will change the objective bounty system, which is what allows that strategy to be successful. So if you have 2 or more items, that threshold becomes more. So basically counterbalance as if you had a real champion top lane that was that far behind.
If you had a real champion top lane. Janna's a good champ. I don't really know why you need to imply that, but... Well, here we are.
Yes, absolutely. And I mean, I honestly thought it was healthy for the meta, and I think it was kind of cool for a little while. But if that's all that we saw, I'd get kind of tired of it, you know?
Yeah, no, there's definitely something to be said for that. So I still think it's a good change, just because top lane seems to just attract a bunch of that weird off meta stuff, like. Janna top was there. We've seen other things in the past. There's so many weird top lane picks we've seen over the years. It's
seems
crazy
to always be support tops though, because there was the Sona top was a thing for a long time, and then there was, I guess it's spot lane stuff, because there was Draven top was meta for a while. That was the worst experience of my life, by the way. Back when Lucian top was super popular too. Every game was either a Lucian or a Draven or a Sona. If I wanted to play against them, I'd go to the bot lane.
Yeah,
I want to be able to play my Darius left in peace, left alone to do what I want. Leave me alone. Let me kill people.
Yeah, but being left alone's not always what happens. So just have to watch out for that kind of stuff.
This is a team game after all.
Yeah. Sometimes on top lane it doesn't feel like a team game though. Sometimes you're on an island a bit.
Absolutely. So I wonder what we are going to see in the top lane tonight. As it stands, if I remember correctly, Renekton, Gnar, Jace, and Malphite have all been kind of the top picks the last couple weeks in pro play, which, if the OSU sticks to the LCS meta, which they kind of tend to do, we're going to see something kind of in that ballpark, if I had to guess.
Yeah, our top laner Moo Cub I've seen a lot tends to stick around with those. Doesn't tend to go with those off-meta picks very often, so we would definitely expect to see Camille, definitely one of their favorites, so that's definitely going to be a pick we might see tonight. It also depends on if Clover's done any prep, because if they've looked ahead, they might know their bans and everything, so we'll have to watch out for that as well.
Yeah, that's the one unfortunate thing to these collegiate leagues and smaller scale leagues is you can just op.gg somebody, look at their champion pool and just ban it out. that obviously doesn't work in the upper, with the Academy League and LCS and the other major leagues because everybody plays a super diverse pool. They do target ban on occasion, but it doesn't ever matter most of the time. So it's kind of unfortunate that that's what happens, but who knows tonight? We'll see.
Yeah, certainly. We're going to see soon. So we seem to be having a delay of some kind, so we're going to throw to a break here. So we will see you all once that has been figured out. And welcome back. We're about ready to get in a draft here, so we're gonna see what's going on. So we start out with a Draven and a Kindred ban. Not exactly on meta champs, so I'd bet that was some preparation ahead of time. Some people checked what they were good with. That Hecarim ban is a target. BioGamer has popped off with Hecarim in previous games, so that was definitely a targeted ban.
And I'd have to imagine that Draven was also a targeted ban. Caitlyn, on the other hand, that is less of a target ban if I had to guess. That's a very, very meta pick right now. It's kind of been a handshake thing between... it's a weird handshake thing with Zeri, Jhin, and Caitlyn. You ban one, then pick between the other two, and you kind of run with that. So we will see first pick Camille top.
Yeah, Camille top. Not for Ohio State's side. I mentioned Mukub, but Mukub seems to pick Lulu. We'll see what happens with that.
Gonna see the Lee Sin locked in the jungle with an Ivern response.
Ooh.
We'll probably see some early invades there, hopefully. That's playing to Ivern's weaknesses. His early game is not that great, and Lee Sin is very well known for his early game.
Yeah, we got a pretty standard mid pick with Corki coming out here. The Yuumi ban, so they're looking to take out some supports on the other team.
And we're going to see the Gangplank ban come out, despite having, I believe, the top pick locked in already. And that is going to be an Aurelia ban just to cover for that Lulu top or the Corki mid. Aurelia can absolutely trash both of those champions in lane.
Okay, so I believe we'll be able to talk a little bit more after this draft, but they use pro draft, so that is why they've picked their top laners and then banned top laners in the second round. So we'll be able to talk a little more about that after we see everything here. But well, there's your Zeri. Somebody picked it.
Yes, I knew it. Zeri has been a non-stop staple in pro play and my ranked games, despite people running them down. When it's like that Yasuo syndrome. Whenever the Zeri's on your team, the Zeri's absolutely trash. But whenever they're on the enemy team, you might as well be playing against double lift. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny how that works, doesn't it?
Every single game.
Every single time you get stuck in loser's queue. So
exactly. But that's why we're on the desk and they're in the game.
Yeah, they're playing. And they're also playing Blitzcrank. That's not the top tier pick that we've seen for support over the past few weeks. What do you think about that
I'm
one?
going to guess that that's supposed to be a counter pick for Zeri. I don't know that Zeri has that much of an escape if she gets hooked by Blitz. And being an ADC, she's incredibly squishy. So if you do manage to grab her with the Jinx knock up into the traps, you could probably CC her to death and kill her before she is able to do anything about it. If I had to guess.
Yeah, well, we'll certainly get our chance to see here as everybody sets their runes, and we're going to get into game quite soon.
In just a little while.
I did forget to mention, but we do have a bit of a spectator delay, so we're going to go ahead and head to a break here while we wait that out. We'll see you all in game soon.
Yep.
Welcome back to the stream, everybody. We're almost ready to get in game, but first I know, Justin, you had something you wanted to say about the draft.
Absolutely. I was calling this all day. I was expecting to see either a red side Zeri ban first or an immediate first pick on blue, which is exactly what happened. We didn't have the pro draft on, but we were able to see it after the fact. It was a first pick Zeri, followed by a Jinx Lulu round 2. They were probably going to use the Lulu as a flex pick, which has ended up what happening. And I believe my suspicions were correct with the Blitzcrank being a supposed labbed counter for Zeri.
Yeah, that's going to be very relevant. Zeri has just become more and more prominent over the past week, so if it gets picked into you and you don't have anything to deal with it, she can just dominate the game against you.
And it's such an interesting pick. It had the exact same effect as like all the other ADCs when the games or when every new ADC comes out. Everybody's like, "Oh, this ADC's trash. Nobody's gonna play this," and then it ends up being the next hot thing.
Yeah, it's definitely a cycle, but we are finally going to get in game, and we're going to see all of Ohio State gather up at this bush, probably waiting for an aggressive play from Clover, but from the looks of it, I don't think they're going to get what they're looking for.
And I think what we're going to be seeing here out of Ohio State is this is definitely looking like a play through the bottom lane kind of angle. You have Exhaust on the Jinx, and you have Ignite on the Blitzcrank, and you have a Lulu top. So you really can't play through top side. If the Lee Sin gets an early lead, he can probably run away with the game. Corki's not going to be doing much of anything until he hits at least 2 items, maybe 3. And the Jinx is also not going to be doing much of anything until 2 or 3 items. So this is looking like a really late game scaling comp where they want Lee Sin to go in as the front line, kick somebody back, insta-kill him, and continue to take out the rest of the team. A very front-to-back style, if you will.
Yeah, certainly. And I think something we'll definitely look out for is both the supports on each team have a really powerful hook. Obviously, Nautilus is going to have to wait a little bit more than Blitzcrank to get that online, but it's definitely something we're going to watch out for if those supports want to roam. They could definitely make an impact on the game early.
I'm expecting to see a lot of Merc Treads bought this game with the amount of slows, stuns, and CC on both teams, with Lulu and Lee Sin existing, Camille existing, Ivern Root, Victor has a slow and a stun, and we're going to see some action in the bottom lane pretty early on.
Yeah, both very aggressive champs looking to go in on each other, but just not quite able to take each other out yet. And top lane has also exchanged a lot of damage. They're really going after it, but Flux hits a really good hook. He gets an Ignite off. There's going to be a lot of action. OSU Blue is going to go down. The first blood goes to Clover, and that's not a good sign for the OSU bot lane.
And if you take a look at the summoners, every single summoner on the bot lane is burnt except for the flash of Blitzcrank. Now that is going to draw every single jungler within about a 10-mile radius immediately down to that bot lane. Any jungler that knows what they're doing, whoa, what a hook. But that's going to draw all eyes bot lane for the meantime.
Yeah, I love the idea with the hook there, but obviously just doesn't quite work out. Nautilus has the answer for it, and now we'll just be getting into a little bit later in the game now, but looks like Clover's bot lane is now recalling. Obviously, they want to catch up on items after OSU Blue just bought, so.
That was a very interesting interaction. I don't think I've ever actually seen that happen with Nautilus hook canceling out the Blitzcrank hook. It makes sense, but I don't think I've ever actually seen it for it to be relevant. Quite an interesting. Surprised it works considering Riot's spaghetti code most of the time.
Can be a little bit flimsy, but what is not flimsy is Mookub on the top lane right now, polymorphing Zika, definitely getting a little bit spicy up there, but now Biogamer, Biogamer's in a bad spot. He's just barely going to get out as his team arrives for support, but Hunt for Value and Young starting to skirmish, but not quite going to finish, and seems like both teams would walk away, but Blitzcrank just gets hooked and is absolutely just getting mowed down. Flux is down, and that gives a second blood to Clover.
Yep, and it's looking like and I think that flash is not going to matter. Lulu is going to survive the burn tick. That was very, very fortunate. That could have been absolutely disastrous, being down 3-0 and almost 2,000 gold already. About 1,500 gold already.
Yeah, definitely not what you want to have happen, but luckily OSU staves off that fate for just a little bit longer. But as you were saying, the bot laners attracting junglers. They're both toward the bot side right now, but Ivern, having seen the ward, is going to do something about it. But Hunt for Value gets into a lot of trouble in mid lane, and he's going to have to back off for a bit.
I really liked what he was going for on the trade pattern there. Unfortunately, I think he just missed one of the shots that he needed to hit. And it looks like Lee Sin hiding in a bush. This is going to be spicy.
Ooh, OSU's going to have a response here. They're going in on Limit Tester on Clover here. Zeri's gonna... Oh, Zeri gets hooked by Blitzcrank. Just a bit more CC, and the shot from OSU Blue with Jinx takes him out, and OSU have responded to the early blood that Clover has shed.
What an absolutely fantastic play. That is all you could have asked for to stabilize right there. I think that was best case scenario right there. I think right now Corki needs to get his reset in after this wave pushes. He's kind of tied up right now, but he can't really do anything about it. Lulu is just perma pushing top, giving Dragon away to the bot lane for free, considering bot lane is dead, which it is currently a... can't see the Dragon down there.
Ooh, Mookub's going to be in a lot of trouble here, though. Laspa's coming in behind Mookub, and Mookub being Lulu, rooted on the other side. They're both blocking his way back to the tower. He's running away and surviving a lot longer than I expected, but yeah, the Camille is going to be able to chase down and take out Mookub and secure Clover just a bit more of a lead for now.
I think that was the optimal play there, considering how caught out he was. Trying to run away to try and let that wave crash. Unfortunately, it didn't make it there, but it was a good attempt. But it did buy him more time to get back, considering he has to run all the way back, and he already used his teleport. So hopefully he'll get back and won't miss too terribly much CS. And it looks like our next trick is going to be a Ocean, meaning the only soul options currently are Mountain and Cloud Soul and Infernal are all three options, which it will be revealed here shortly. But an Ocean Soul not existing is definitely interesting for this game, considering we have two scaling comps that scale very, very hard and want to go to that late game. And I think, I mean, Soul is pretty much game at this point.
Yeah, either team is going to be able to finish quite quickly after Soul, and Zika in this top lane is just continuing to keep aggression up on Mookub. This Lulu pick seems to just is not good as good as dueling as Camille is. So.
Yep, and we'll just have to see where it goes. The items looking pretty even here. The Camille doesn't have a ton of kill pressure without the help of Ivern or Victor at this point. So he's just going to try and stabilize right now. It'd be probably best case to freeze, which it looks like that's what Camille's trying to do. Lulu walked up to try and break the freeze and is certainly getting killed for it.
Oh yeah, Lulu is just going to be under heavy pressure. Laspa's here once again. Mookub is desperately trying to retreat under tower as the health bar gets lower and lower until Zika takes out Mookub.
Well, maybe I was wrong about the priority being on the top lane, and now we're going to see another bot lane skirmish.
So Flux gets down to really low HP and leaving Blue on the front line to take all the hits, which is not ideal for an ADC. They get a lot of damage in return, but this Zeri is just untouched and continuing to apply pressure. Ooh, really good flash from OSU Blue, avoiding that Nautilus hook. That was critical. If that hook hit, that was OSU Blue headed back to Fountain, and not in a good way.
Did you see that already? Victor having a there's no way he has his upgraded laser already, does he? That's what it looked like. If so, that's incredible. But once Victor gets that upgraded E, it's gonna be a lot harder for him to play this lane. Corki can't quite match that pushing power just yet. He needs to get a couple more levels and a couple more items to be able to keep up with the Victor push.
Yeah, certainly, and Mookub is just pushed under tower at this point, so it's good that he pushed up earlier and got the pressure so that OSU can claim that first drag, because at this point, OSU, each part of the map is under quite a bit of pressure, and claiming objectives is going to be hard for him.
That is an upgraded laser, meaning Corki's job got that much harder. He's going to try his best to hang in with the CS. He's going to be about probably at a 15 CS deficit by the time he catches that wave and collects it entirely. And Camille's just going to dive back on. The pressure just doesn't let up.
Yeah, Zika is just really putting so much pressure on Mookub, keeping him under tower. And honestly, it makes sense with this comp. You don't, if you're going to be Camille versus Lulu, why not put the pressure on? Why not keep him under the tower?
Yep, and because the bot lane's pretty much stabilized for them, and they know that Zeri's going to scale incredibly well over time, so there's no real reason to put that much attention on it anymore. So in the meantime, you want to protect that lane that's very vulnerable, where the Camille needs it most, because if Camille falls behind, Camille is not going to be worth anything until way later when it's probably too late to begin with.
BioGamer is looking for a gank here on Zika, but I don't think it's going to amount to anything considering there's 4 members of Clover here to take this Rift Herald, but OSU is poking around. I think they might want to try to take this. They're not going to be able to, but they are going to cause a team fight. Blitzcrank hits a good hook, and oh, lots of damage out onto Young, and that is just, wow. I did not expect to see that, and both teams are going to get away with all of their members, but OSU's not satisfied with it. They just want to go in again. What an engage! Biogamer goes into the middle of it, claims the opener. Limit Tester falls to hunt for value, and now the rest of Ohio State is just raining fire upon the Clover members.
Lee Sin leveled up in the middle of that skirmish. That made a huge difference right there, getting the kick in time. What an incredible re-engage from Biogamer.
Yeah, that kick in entry from over the wall was just insane. Unfortunately, he goes down to the turret at the end of that, but that was a great team fight. Considering OSU's, by most regards, they're still a little behind on items and laning and everything, but in the team fight, they're really able to take what they want to.
However, seeing a 3-0 Camille at the 10-minute mark is not exactly what I would want to be seeing if I was OSU right now. I don't know if there's a much worse case scenario, but all they're really going to be able to do now is Moo Crab is already stuck under his turret the entire time, and it's just going to get worse.
Yeah, it's definitely not good for them, but OSU is going to be moving in on this second dragon here. They're going to take advantage of the team fight they just won in the space they got on lanes to grab a second Drake at 11 minutes.
Wow, what a stacked up wave. I would expect to see a turret dive, except unfortunately Biogamer's on the wrong side of the map. But getting second dragon is awesome, and we are going to reveal a Infernal Soul, that is great for both of these two teams.
Yeah, the Scalers are going to love to see that increase in AP from the Drakes, and not to mention just the insane damage that's going to be able to come from that Soul. So
I'm going to go ahead and say that Soul probably is best case for Ohio State right now, considering they have the Corki. The Corki poke absolutely loves to have the Infernal Soul to be able to use the rocket spam. And Clover will absolutely enjoy that too, considering they have the Victor's Airy. But I think as far as the comps go as they stand, I think the Infernal Soul is probably better for OSU.
yeah, it definitely seems that way. Yeah, in the meantime, both teams are kind of content to they're both sitting back right now. They're claiming their farm, and no team fights are happening. We've obviously got no Drake and no Rift Herald right now, so neither team's really got a big objective to fight for.
The next objective we'll be seeing is wherever Ivern decides to go to drop that Rift Herald. It looks like that Rift Herald's going to be going top.
Ooh, what an insane fight. Sure, is able to take down Flux, but she is just unable to do anything else. Biogamer shows up, able to save the bot lane from further misery there, and definitely saves them from unfortunate fate.
We're just going to see a support trade there, which is just fine. However, like I was saying, the Ivern is going to be going topside with that Rift Herald and push Lulu out. I don't think he's going to lose the turret here. I think he's fine. He might actually be able to kill Camille as it stands, if Camille is not careful. Ivern's coming back, but I don't think it's in time.
Oh my, the Camille was not terribly careful, but did have her ability ready to just get out of there. So Blitzcrank showing up to support now, but Biogamer isn't going to engage on this mid laner and not going to expect the Nautilus so close. Going to be taken down for it. Hunt for value just had to sit by there. There was nothing he could really do about that.
Unfortunately, he took too many turret shots in that engage. He needed to hit that Q just a second sooner. He got hit in the middle of dashing over to Victor. I think if he wouldn't have gotten hit that time, I think he would have lived and gotten the kill. Probably could have been a double kill. I'm not sure, but Camille's going to continue to re-engage, and I think that's going to be the end of Lulu.
Yeah, Camille's going to ult and definitely put the hurt on Mookub here. Mookub's going to flash away, but I just don't know if it's going to be enough.
I think it is.
Oh, actually, I might be mistaken. Zeka hunts under tower, takes 2 turret shots, but is able to claim the life of Mookub and just make this top diff even worse. And while the top diff is widening, Clover's looking to widen the bot diff, but doesn't look like much more is going to come of it for now.
They are reading Blitzcrank's plays incredibly well. Every time he goes out for vision, he's getting caught out. I think they're just doing a better job at reading the play. I don't think they have better vision. He did walk over a ward, but we'll probably see sweepers come out here soon while Blitzcrank tries to fight for some vision.
Yeah, definitely going to be critical moving forward in this game to get those sweepers.
CS-wide looking at about a 40 CS lead for the side of Camille. Lee Sin getting just a little bit of a CS lead. However, he's got 3 kills on top of that, having completed his first item. We're seeing a couple mythics get to finish here across the board. We're going to see the Divine Sunder for Camille, the Eclipse for Lee Sin, and the Triforce just now getting finished for Zeri. That is going to get really scary here soon.
Ooh, Flux is going to be getting into the middle of this. He's going to be able to hit a lot of important CC on Blitzcrank here, and they're going to put a lot of pressure on that bot lane. Lee Sin and OSU Blue able to take its respective kills and just continue to keep this even. OSU and Clover tied on kills.
That was a very, very wide. They were very overextended there. I don't think they had enough vision to be going for that. If you're going to be going for plays like that, you need to have vision deeper into the enemy jungle, which the only vision they have is the Scuttle Crab, and that doesn't provide that much to begin with. That is great for OSU. Blue having an amazing flash, getting out of the way of the hook and was able to deal some damage.
Victor bursts a lot of damage onto Hunt for Value in mid there, but unable to take the kill. And speaking of taking things, Ohio State has claimed the first tower of the game. Right?
About a 1.5k gold deficit right now. That's not awful, especially considering you're a scaling top, but considering the other team's also a scaling top, not that great. The Lee Sin needs to continue to get these kills and find these picks and keep the farm up to stay relevant in the game, because as the game goes later and later, Lee Sin becomes less and less relevant, especially if you're doing the assassin build, which is what we're seeing, I think. Going to be going for the second Rift territory on the top side. If I had to guess, that's probably going to be going towards mid to crack mid open so you can have more control of the map and go for those dives more often.
Yeah, and while Clover is grabbing the Rift Herald, it seems like OSU is claiming a lot of vision in this bot side, and it's just that's a good response, because Clover taking this Rift Herald, but OSU is just so much vision and so much presence toward this Drake. And this Drake could put Ohio State on Soul Point at 17 minutes, and right here it is. OSU's on Soul Point, while the Rift Herald does push mid for Clover.
That is going to be a 22-minute Infernal Soul if OSU scores here. I think they're going to lose two turrets for that. I would almost argue that's a small price to pay considering what you're getting. Survive? Second turret survive. Never mind, there it goes.
No, second turret just barely goes down, so definitely a price to be paid, but I think that you're willing to pay it if you're Ohio State, because that Infernal Soul is just going to be really, really important. And as far as a win con goes, I don't know if they're going to get better, as a team fight's going to ensue in mid here. Hunt for Value with insane damage on Corki, able to take down the Zeri, and that is just going to leave Clover with almost no damage, but unfortunately, their Ivern is able to fend them off and keep the numbers even for now.
Yep, I think despite the 2,000 gold deficit right now, I would want to be Ohio State in this situation. In about 4 minutes from now, you're going to try and farm up as much gold as you can in the meantime. You're going to be the first one to Soul Point, hopefully. So you've got a Corki and a Jinx and a Lee Sin that they have to walk into if they don't want to give up Infernal Soul. Even if you get wiped in exchange for an Infernal Soul, it is worth it.
Oh, OSU might be overextending a little bit under that tower. They're not able to claim it, and they're going to lose Blitzcrank. But given it's just the support, it's not the worst thing, but honestly, it all probably could have been prevented if they just played a little bit more passive and, like we're saying, just wait for the Infernal Drake.
Absolutely. We got about 3.5 minutes. I think it's best case for everybody to clear up as much farm as they can. Lee Sin's probably going to try and run through his jungle once, maybe twice, if he can. And they're definitely going to be a lot of emphasis on this vision in the bot lane here in the next 3 minutes.
Yeah. Ohio State and Clover both have control wards toward the mid side of that of the thing here, so definitely going to watch out for that. OSU is the only one with other vision. They have vision toward blue side's birds, and on the other side a Drake pit as well. So currently OSU with the advantage, but Clover is here and they're contesting it.
And Clover is going to start clearing out the OSU side vision. There's not much vision left. There's, as you can see in the bottom right corner there in the map, there is a little bit of vision down there by Camille. We'll see if she ends up finding that or not. I doubt it. But we got about 2.5 minutes here until, I would argue, the game is probably decided.
Yeah, it's gonna, if OSU claims that Drake, that's gonna really practically make up for this gold diff and then some. Like, yep. That's just gonna be huge for Ohio State.
Most of the, I believe the average Drake value for the for a soul is about 5,000 to 6,000 gold, depending on who you ask. Some say 8. So about an 8,000 gold swing on a team with Corki is definitely something you want. Those rockets are going to hurt.
Corki and Jinx are both gonna make it worth your while to grab that soul in that situation. Another control ward being taken down here by Clover. They're definitely aware of how valuable it would be for Ohio State to grab that soul.
Yep, and nothing crazy on the builds. If we look here on the build items, Corki going for the super generic standard Corki poke build right now. It's going to be a Luden's Echo. His Mana Mura just transformed, which is huge for him. great power spike to have right before the drag. And we have an early Serpent's Fang coming out for BioGamer.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting to look on that Lee Sin. As we've kept harping that this Lee Sin needs to be relevant, and he needs to be relevant early if he wants to make his impact on this game. Because Ivern definitely, as the game goes on, he becomes more useful, but not the same for BioGamer here.
I think that was probably one of the best items he could have bought right here. Serpent's Fang, for those who don't know, shreds shields. If a shield, I believe if they activate a shield and you hit them, or if they've recently had a shield activated, you'll deal bonus damage and bonus shield damage. Which, considering I see an Ivern on the table who gives everybody shields, Victor gives himself a shield, Camille gives herself a shield, and Nautilus also has a shield, that is going to be a huge, huge item here.
Yeah, it seems like both teams are making their recalls and they're making their final buys because this Drake is spawning in 45 seconds and the fight is going to be huge. But currently Clover has control of the river and vision control of the river, so they've played these last few minutes very well, keeping Ohio State out of this area and unable to put wards there. Ooh, Flux is going to get caught off guard, and that's going to be really unfortunate heading into this, but he's going to get saved by his teammates who show in there, and he's just going to be able to run away with enough health, but that chases OSU quite a ways away from this Baron when it's 15 seconds from spawning. Not Baron, sorry, Drake.
And I think we're going to go ahead and see them forfeit the dragon here. Considering we have 2 recalls coming out, I doubt they're going to go back down to fight it. They could, but I think it'll be too late. They might try and clean up after the fact, but it's, well, we're going to see Camille go in.
Oh, we are going to see a bit of a team fight here, and it looks like a teleport might come in. BioGamer takes a lot of damage, taken down by Sherher, and now the fight is just in full-blown. Everything is going off. Hunt for Value's claiming a kill. Limit Tester claims a kill on OSU Blue. And each team decides to retreat because Clover's definitely looking to claim this Drake, and OSU is just looking to not lose any more off that fight.
And it looks like they're still going to continue to pursue. I don't know if they're... It looks like they're going to fight this.
Yeah, it looks like they are. There's no other reason for them to be in this area, and Clover not starting the Drake yet. Quite wise to do so, but Zika is going to flank around as Camille and claim a lot of damage on Hunt for Value. That's not going to be very good. Flux is going to tank the damage, and OSU is, going to get doubled up on. Mukab is the last one left in the area. Also going to go down to the Victor, and the Drake is going to go to Clover, and those team fights just, I don't know if it was right for OSU to go in there.
I agree entirely. That was almost a steal. That could have been insane. Jinx is going to continue to go for it. This dragon was still on the table. But I feel like that was a bit of an overextension for OSU. I would have felt if Lee Sin was still there instead of Corki, I think it would have been okay. But they were just too squishy with Camille existing in the state she is with Divine Thunder. There was no chance.
Yeah, she definitely was the MVP there, able to just close the gap with her abilities and take the space they need to grab that Drake, and that's just gonna put OSU a little bit further back with everything that's going on. But that being said, they are still at Drake point, or Soul point. They definitely still have ins to this game.
Absolutely, this game is not. Neither team is out. This is heavily Clover favored right now with about a 4,000 gold lead. As time continues, that gold lead will mean less and less. Currently, we're sitting on a 2-item top lane versus Lulu with 1 item, who does have a support item now, Spell Thief's Edge. Lee Sin with 2 items, Ivern with 2 as well, and Victor in mid. Everything's pretty evenly matched. Zeri's slightly more ahead in the bot lane, but aside from that, it's pretty even.
Yes, certainly, but there's just going to be an exchange of some ults in the mid lane here, but it's just the supports that are doing it until Young comes around, and it's a gigantic laser just annihilating 4 members of OSU, taking out the 4th. Oh my gosh. Hunt for Value is the last one left, and yeah, that damage on Victor just was crazy, and Clover looking to claim the Baron off the back of that.
Yeah, I don't think there's much of what, there's not much Corki can do here. There's a chance he could try and steal with a couple rockets, but with Daisy and all those bodies around it, Camille's probably going to hop out of the wall here just to make sure. They're definitely going to snuff the play out here. And Corki doesn't make it over the wall. That's very unfortunate.
Oh, yeah, that failure to make it over the wall is going to cost him his life and going to give Clover the Baron.
And now we're at an 8K gold lead with pushing waves, and things are not looking good for OSU right now.
Yeah, that 4-man laser from Young just absolutely shreds through OSU in that team fight, leaves them with nothing left, and leaves Clover with a Baron. That is just so incredibly unfortunate. OSU still not out of it, but this is the worst it's looked all game.
That Victor is going to be an issue. I think your only chance here, if you're OSU, is to kill that Victor immediately and then try and fight off the Camille. But even then, the Zeri's 5-4 with a Runan's Hurricane, so she's going to be dealing damage to your entire team as it is. The amount of AoE damage that Clover has is insane.
Yeah, and we saw it on that last fight with the ults and all of the team fighting that they were taking care of. And OSU placing control wards as far back as their wolves, I think this might be a bit of a sign of desperation almost.
Yep, it's just a fight. They've got to fight tooth and nail for any inch of control in their own jungle. I don't think BioGamer's going to be getting any more CS here for a while until they can get some control of their jungle.
Yeah, and just to pack on the unfortunate things for Ohio State, we've got 5 people in OSU defending, but Camille's split pushing top while all that's happening, and Camille's just is one of the best split pushers in this scenario, so Clover is just looking to take every advantage and push in on it.
Corky's getting close to being online. His rockets are doing a good amount of damage. Jinx is getting closer and closer to being online, but it might be too little too late.
Yeah, Clover is able to take this mid turret, and that leaves Ohio State's inhibitor just completely exposed, and there's no tower to defend this as they lay in the damage. But Blitzcrank is able to hook the Victor, and Corky's able to take it down. This team fight might turn. Last was going to slay BioGamer. Oh no, OSU not able to capitalize on the Victor being gone. Zeri and Zeka just claiming so much ground, and an ace from Clover. They are probably going to be able to end here.
That is going to be a good game for game 1. Fortunately, this is the best of 3 series, so there is a lot more league for us to watch. A 6-0 Camille top, not much you can do about that. Got a big advantage really early. Very unfortunate. But there's a lot that can be learned, and it was a close game up until that point. So,
yeah, OSU definitely, they had their opportunities, and I think that the main turning point for the game was just that overextension for the Drake, I think. That's when things turned, because on that next team fight is when Victor just hit that giant laser, was able to just clean up what's left of OSU, and they couldn't find anything after that point, because the Camille had just been popping off, and then the Victor was fed. He had all the damage he needed to just carry them, and it was all downhill from there.
Yep, he had that magic pen on very, very early. He had the Shadow Flame very early on. And on top of that, with the Runans that Zeri had, that was every single auto was hitting all of them on top of the laser damage, on top of the Camille with the W leg sweep, on top of the AoE from Nautilus. Looking at the damage charts, is exactly what you expect. Corky was coming online just a little too late. Victor just absolutely annihilating anybody in his path.
Yeah, we mentioned OSU had a late game comp, and they were getting towards that, but just the Camille top was just able to finish that game early, I think was the big thing. That split push they were threatening on the top, and then that one team fight finally just finishing it was just really unfortunate. OSU just unable to find their grip after that.
It was a lot. They couldn't burn through the shields. Try as Lisa and Might having the Serpent's Fang. The shields are just too much. Ivern is insane. With Nautilus as engaged, there was not a lot that they could do once there was we saw signs of life. They were fighting back, bringing back the gold lead, and eventually just lost it. But that unfortunate team fight.
Yeah, we saw Blitzcrank hitting good hooks. Like in that very final fight, he grabbed Victor right at the start, and they took him down right away. But like, there was too much going right for Clover at the end of that game to just come back for OSU, especially when they missed out on that soul. Because I think if they grab that soul, the game looks almost the opposite of what it just did, and OSU takes the power spike and runs with it. But obviously, unable to happen, and OSU is going to lose the first round here.
Like I was saying, even if you trade your team and get aced in exchange for a Drake, I don't think that's worst case. You're going to lose a lot of gold and fall behind, but that power spike you get immediately balances it out and then gives you some on top of all of that. So, best case is exactly what happened. They got the Drake and got to walk away. But once you get aced and then they get the Drake and you give up soul point, there's no way you're going to win another fight for the dragon. So they kind of risked it all. It was an all-in, and unfortunately it didn't pay off.
It was an all-in, and OSU rolled Snake Eyes, so just very, very unfortunate at the end of that game there. But We are going to have a game 2 soon, but for now, we're going to throw it to a break, so we will see you all very soon. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the stream. We just saw OSU take a tough loss on first map of the week 4 here at Victoris Triumph Series. Justin, what do you think were some of the takeaways? Where did OSU fall short? What prevented them from taking the round?
Now, I'm not one to typically like to blame top laners as an ex-top laner myself, but I don't think the Lulu and the Camille worked out like they wanted it to. I like the idea, great vision. Unfortunately, the execution wasn't quite there. I think we'll probably see a different strategy come out from them coming up in the next draft. I think mid lane was fine. He was getting camped just a little bit, but it wasn't that bad. I think he was doing the best given his situation. Bot lane, I think, was doing fine until a couple of extensions here and there, but I think it was played around pretty well. And jungle was fine. So I really think it came down to the Camille getting really far ahead really early and being able to constantly solo kill. So Lulu fell so far behind. I think if we remove that top lane mistake, I think that was a much closer game. And we don't exactly, the outcome could have went either way.
Yeah, I think so, because you want the extra late game support, but unfortunately Camille just capitalized too much on it, because Lulu he can't really fight Camille early in the game like that. It's just not how it works.
He was doing a very good job of bullying out Camille early and getting stacked waves every single time, but then that's when you saw the Ivern keep coming back, and you can only do so much when the Ivern's living in your lane.
Certainly. We are going to see Zeri banned in this game, so we'll see none of those shenanigans again.
That was ridiculous. Zeri is really good. Despite the nerfs, it doesn't mean anything. Zeri's still really good. Crazy.
Yeah, Diana's gone, and so is Hecarim, so definitely seeing jungle bans. We're seeing an Ornn and a Gwen, both on the Ohio State side of things.
That is an interesting pick. That leads me to believe that Gwen is a flex pick, but we'll see where it goes. Corki coming out in the mid lane, nothing surprising there. Syndra, pretty good pick into Corki. Ideally, you get Victor, but any control mage into Corki is generally pretty good.
Definitely gonna be able to make something of it, but yeah, there's the Victor ban, so we'll see. Once again, we'll be able to comment on the exact order of all the picks and bans later. They used Pro Draft, which doesn't always reflect exactly as to what we're seeing right now, but we'll talk about that after this.
I'll come back stronger.
Gangplank.
Gangplank's gone again.
I don't think Gangplank's that strong right now. I don't know why we're constantly seeing it banned. He's been nerfed into the ground when they reworked his Q.
Yeah, we are going to see an Aphelios versus Jhin in the bot lane, by the looks of it. Let's see what support Flux is going to pick. I'd imagine, probably Thresh. Flux loves Thresh, and it's going to go well with that Aphelios as well, so that definitely makes sense.
Very, very, very standard comps here. Gwen Jungle's been on the up and up right now. Ornn, we haven't seen too much Ornn recently in the meta. However, I'm actually okay with it. I'm a huge fan of Ornn. I think Ornn's a great champion, especially when you have a Gwen, Aphelios, and Corki, whose items you can buff. This is, once again, a super late game scaling comp. Coming in from the side of Clover, I like to say they scale, but they don't scale super hard. Graves is really good in that mid game. Camille scales really well. Syndra is good in that mid to late game. And Jhin doesn't do too much later in the game. He's really good at catching people out, but aside from that, not getting much out of him.
Yeah, Jin's definitely kind of the early and mid game type of ADC. We are going to see, once again, double hooks in the bot lane with our supports. We got Thresh and we got Nautilus, and it'll be interesting to see that Ornn top as well. That'll be a little bit more, we wanted to see more traditional top lane from Ohio State. Ornn's definitely going to fit that mold to go up against a Camille and look a lot better than Lulu, probably.
I don't think there's a world where that Camille can do anything to that Ornn pre-Divine Sunder, and maybe some on top of that. But now we can go ahead and talk about the actual draft and what actually happened. It was the first pick blind, Graves top pick, with the Aphelios Thresh followed up. Great combo. You see that almost every time. If you pick Aphelios, the first thing you do is pick Thresh immediately after. Makes perfect sense. Followed by the Jhin Nautilus that both had their reveal on the mid lane, or on the bot lane. Corki got picked immediately after that. And then we had Syndra, followed by the Gwen Ornn, and last but not least, the Camille. So, nothing crazy. I don't know why they saved Camille for so late in the draft, considering Ornn was I guess Orange showed just before that, but I don't know if you necessarily needed the top counter pick in that situation.
Yeah. Well, like we said, a lot of the things for OSU look like they might work out the same here with the difference in the top lane. So we will see how it's going to work out after a short break. We'll see you soon. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the stream. We just saw the draft, and now we get to talk about it for a bit. So, interesting thing that we saw was a Gwen jungle pick. What do you think about that?
I think Gwen jungle's awesome. It's a lot of fun to watch. I initially thought that Gwen was going to go topside, and we'd have a very interesting matchup up there with Camille versus Gwen, which isn't one I haven't seen too much of. But in that case, we probably would have saw a double Ignite TP top lane, which would have been super fun to watch. You'd see everything going up there, but that's not the reality we live in. So if I had to guess, there will be little to no action on the top side for a while until the Camille at least thinks she has kill pressure up there. Because I doubt there's a world where the Camille kills the Ornn that early on. And yeah, it's going to be pretty dry. It's probably going to be a bot lane focused kind of game, drag stacking and the usual.
Yeah, Ornn is just so incredibly tanky. He's so hard to take down early. And even then, if you let him scale well and he can buy a lot of those tank items, he just becomes like just this almost unbreakable piece of front line that OSU can have toward the late game.
Well, part of the strength of Camille is the fact that she deals true damage instead of dealing physical damage. But unfortunately for her, Ornn's passive also gives a 10% bonus to health, not just the armor. So there's almost no world where you're killing him anyways. So I like the Camille pick. The true damage is a great idea, but I don't think when he stacks as much health as he stacks, you're probably going to see him go on a probably a Frostfire or a Sunfire Aegis as his first item. Then he's going to build Warmogs immediately after, and you're not going to be able to touch him for the rest of the game. He's just going to exist in a side lane. Nobody's going to go top lane and split. He's just going to be there. Basically a turret.
It's just going to be Ornn's lane. Everybody else can live in it, but they're not going to be able to take him down in it. So, yeah, definitely quite the thing to look at.
All right, and we're going to be hopping into game here soon. But I think the lane to watch is definitely going to be the spot lane here and the mid lane.
Yeah, we'll certainly keep our eyes on it as all of Clover heads toward top side during this little pregame shuffle. We'll see if anything comes of it. This Ornn is coming in by the tri-bush, but he's not going to aggress, but he is going to see Clover if they do step just a little too far. Mookub's aware of what's going on now, but so is Clover. Oh, they're moving in. Oh, they're going to go for something early. They're going to draw Mookub's flash out, and they're just going to be content with that and leave it there, which is probably good. You love to burn those summoner spells early.
Absolutely. I mean, Ornn should be okay. He's Ornn. He's not going to die. It's not fun not having that flash. But do notice that there is a flash on the Camille this time, which isn't something we see very often. We generally see Ignite. So I think that's the Camille's way of realizing, hey, I'm not going to be able to kill this guy. I'm just going to have to live with it. I'm going to play for later in the game. Because with a Camille hook shot with a flash, she can dive onto anybody in the backline she could possibly want. That Aphelios, she can get to the Aphelios, the Corki, the Gwen, whoever she wants, she can have.
Yeah, definitely going to be something dangerous to look at. And looks like the Graves is not going to actually have a Lee string for the jungling here. And that would have gotten bot lane ahead on farm, but it looks like Mookub is helping Leash on the top lane.
Going to be walking
there's going to be a bit of an early fight, but because it's Ornn, not too much is going to come of it.
Yep, he got absolutely nothing out of that, and Camille got nothing out of it either. So they're both just going to walk into lane with an equal latent state.
Yeah, Hunt for Value poking away with a bit of a range advantage on this Corki right now. And yeah, Zeke is just getting these nicks in on Ornn, which can definitely add up, but I don't think that she really is going to want to fight very much early in this game. I think both of them are going to be content to just kind of farm and take their minions until they hit level 6 or they get their first item.
Absolutely. There's going to be a good amount of trading, but I don't think anybody's going to die. Nothing's going to come out of it. They both have really good health regen. Ornn's got the biscuits, and he's just going to build items in lane. However, he is getting that early push, which means there's a possibility he gets frozen on, and there's really nothing he can do about it.
Yeah, well, he's not going to get ganked too early because this Graves is heading toward his own bot side jungle. And it seems like the OSU bot lane is pushed quite a bit back right now. Not
Yeah,
quite
that's generally what's going to happen when you're playing Aphelios Thresh in the early game. Jin's just going to hard shove that wave with his Q, and Nautilus, you have threat of dying immediately. You just kind of got to play safe for the first couple levels. We'll see a little bit of trading here back and forth, but it's not going to amount to anything.
Yep, and we've been saying it a lot because we've got this this Ornn here and just a lot of different skirmishes, but a lot of these early fights not really amounting to anything. No junglers getting involved yet, so these first few levels seem to go by with just nothing really out of the ordinary.
Yep, and we're going to get a wave crash topside, and the wave is in a pretty neutral state in the bot side. We're going to have another crab scuffle here. Nothing. It's going to go to the side of Clover again. Probably going to be a double scuttle. He's going to be able to run up there before Gwen can. He's going to run straight to the mid lane because he doesn't care, because he wants that scuttle crab.
Yeah, the double scuttle early definitely puts you just a little bit ahead as a jungler on your opponent, and you definitely want to take that. And not to mention the little bits of vision advantage it gets, and it just makes your laners feel a little bit safer when they have that river vision.
Fortunately, it's not nearly as bad as it used to be. Season 10 scuttle crab was make or break. If you didn't get the double scuttle, you were done for.
Ooh, Limit Tester hits a big hook on side OSU blue, and it's going to deal half of Aphelios' health to be caught into the middle of that, but not going to be able to take him down yet. So OSU once again staves off the early death, but another hook getting hit, and yet another one. Goodness, everybody's just hitting all their hooks right now. And just nobody's coming out on top, really.
Ooh, that was really fortunate for Clover there that Aphelios didn't have the right gun in his hand. That was not a good team fighting gun. That was a good poking gun that he had. If he would have had the probably any other gun, that probably would have been a death there for Limit Tester.
Yeah, so a little bit better gun management for OSU could have helped him out there. But sometimes those situations arise and you just didn't have time to plan for them. So
it's hard.
Not too much.
It's a lot of work. I mean, dude's got more text than the U.S. text code in his one passive.
Indeed he does. Indeed he does. But speaking of people being in trouble, Hunt for Value is in a lot of trouble in mid right now. He's definitely been poked down incredibly low. Biogamer's going to come in to look to keep Hunt for Value alive as he's going to fall back. But Young is going to continue to pressure and delay Hunt for Value, but Young is going to pay the price for that and get very low on health. But Lospa able to kick the first kill, ganking in and claiming the life of Biogamer for Ohio State. That
was unfortunate trade. I think you have to leave there as soon as the other jungler shows, especially when your laner is as low as he is. Looking at the top side, it is exactly what you'd expect. Camille has a CS lead. Ornn's farming where he can, trying to break. He's not quite frozen, but he was at risk for it for a minute. Ornn does have the level advantage, which he might be able to go for a kill here. It'll be close. But unfortunately, his jungler's nowhere near. But he's going to go for it anyways.
The Camille is going to have to flash out of it. Zika uses their flash, able to get out of that Ornn ult. So definitely good idea from Moo Cub. Got a little aggressive because when you do get that level 6 early, it almost just makes sense to try. Like,
yeah.
You've got such a good ultimate with Ornn there that's really good at engage and keeping people near you. That, yeah, I think it makes sense. Unfortunately, it just doesn't amount to anything. So.
And the Camille just used her passive just prior to that. I think that's why he decided to go in on the trade. Unfortunately, there's not a lot you can do in that situation.
Oh, Flux overextending just a little bit. I think once they realized Dragon was being taken, you needed to realize that they had a lot more than just the jungler there. Everybody able to just crash down, and they're able to take one support's life. And Ohio State gets put just a little bit behind at the start of this game again.
Yep, and it's not the end of the world. Once again, it's just over 1,000 gold deficit. But you, like I said, you scale incredibly well. Ornn's passive gives the team several thousand gold worth once he gets to level 13. Those upgrades are really strong, especially like I was saying earlier on champions like Corki, like Aphelios, champions that deal that much damage. It is just incredible.
Yeah, every little bit of extra damage, every little extra increment you can do is going to be able to add up in the long run of this game. And it looks like Zika's really trying to challenge Moo Cub at this point, because Zika has retaken the level advantage and wants to capitalize it on this Ornn, but man, Ornn is just so tanky.
And not to mention, Ornn is not only tanky, he has a ton of damage. It is, a lot of people underestimate it, myself included. The amount of damage that Ornn does in the early game is crazy. One W QE combo, and you might die. That's like Camille is right now.
Yeah, Zika's taking a lot of damage, and I don't think that he's prepared for Biogamer to come in. Zika's going to take a lot of damage, deals a little bit back to Mookup, but Biogamer claims the kill on Zika and gives Ohio State the first blood of the game.
Yep.
Their first kill of the game.
Yep.
Clover's already got kills.
And he handed it on over to the Gwen because I think he realized that that gold is better off on the Gwen because he's Ornn. He doesn't need it. He's fine. And if you do notice, there is a tier on that Ornn, which means we're going to be getting the new tank item, Everwinter. Or Winter's Approach, I believe is what it's called.
Yeah, so just absolute tank coming out from this Ornn and able to get the first gank. And while that's going on, the Flux is helping Biogamer grab Rift Herald by the looks of it. So they're going to take that top advantage, and they're going to claim an objective off of it.
Yep, that's the best case scenario right there, especially, you know, you got to trade, shake hands on one side of the map. Bottom side gets one thing, then you flip around, somebody gets the other side, and that's just kind of the way it is.
Oh, Gwen is actually getting moved in on by Zika right now, but not quite going to kill them. And speaking of getting moved in on, OSU Blue is going to get Tower Dove. He's going to claim the life of Limit Tester, and he's not going to be able to make it alive. The enemy ADC takes him out. But it does end up being a one-for-one trade, but unfortunately I think it favors Clover a little bit because OSU lost the ADC.
I agree, but that was still great play recognition by Blue to take the second to exhaust and to flash to try and stall as much as he could and at least get something out of it. That was Nautilus' first death, so he did get full value out of that. It's not, like you said, it's not great for him to die there, but it's better to take somebody down with you and try and prevent the tower plates from being taken.
Yeah, for sure. You always want to get something, because I think he realized he was probably dead at that point, but realizing that he's probably dead, Hunt for Value has gone down in a much less ceremonious way.
Yeah, that Graves R has taken the lives of many people that did not expect it. As soon as the only way you survive that is if you read the flash, which Young read the flash a little bit better. As soon as that animation starts, you're dead. There's nothing he could do about it. He would have had to be a little more preventative, but we're going to see another fight in the bot lane.
Oh, this is a lot of damage coming out, and Sure is able to come out on top. Flux is still going to be alive, but oh, he's going to be at the mercy of this Jhin ult. Last was coming in too. A hook gets hit on him, and the Graves is, yeah, just absolutely everything being dumped into Flux there, and he's going to go down for it.
That is very unfortunate. Not where you want to be, 3,000 gold down at 10 minutes. It is doable. It's not great. The game's not over by any means. It never is. But you have to look at what you have. There is a minor CS lead in the jungle. Ornn is somehow killing a Camille by himself. He's going to go for it again. No flash this time, but going to dodge the one attack. And is going to get solo killed by the Ornn.
That was really close. One extra turret shot and one just little bit of a misstep from Mookup could have flipped that fight, but definitely able to make use of that Ornn ult and claiming this first 2 plates on that top tower over them is going to be really crucial considering Ohio State's lost plates and is down in pretty much every other lane. So
did you see all those wards that were placed down there? That was that's the new Thrush tech. If you try and place wards down where his lantern is, they can't click the lantern. They can click on the wards. So they just cleaned up 4 wards out of the bot lane. They were trying to use to prevent it from moving.
Yeah, it's a nice little interaction. Well, nice depending on which side of it you're on. So,
and we did see a little bit of BM there in the top lane. That nice Mastery 7 flash. I would have done the same thing. A showman Mookup that he is.
Ooh, Blue is going to catch Sure off guard here, and he's going to be able to deal a lot of damage, but not able to take a kill yet. Gets rooted, and now the Clover. A lot of them are coming down here. I think OSU needs to realize what's going on and back up. They don't have the numbers to fight this, or at least stall until this Ornn comes down.
There's no TP on Camille. They can absolutely fight this and dive this if they really wanted to. I don't think they should, but it's definitely an option.
Oh, that ward is going to reveal the presence of Mookup, and I think they're going to realize that the best case scenario out of this is they just grab Drake and head on their way.
However, a free Drake is never a bad thing. I think the Blue getting that damage off on Jhin really early pretty much saved them from that. And we're going to see Ornn try and chase down. Here we go again.
Oh my gosh. Mookup just dealing so much damage with this Ornn and pressuring Zika a lot. So definitely a much better top lane than what we saw last time.
Yeah, unfortunately for Camille, there's absolutely nothing you can do to the Soren at this point. He's got a Bomby Cinder and a Bramble Vest. There's just nothing you can do about it. OSU going to pick up some gold here, down to a 2,000 gold deficit. Camille's trying again, hasn't learned his lesson, and is going to pay the life for it.
Ooh, Zika's going to take a lot of damage. Going to sidestep Hunt for Value's rocket. That was a huge sidestep right there.
However, Gray's misstepping, walking right into the Thresh Hook.
Oh, I don't know if he knew it was there. The Ornn ult is going to CC them so hard. Zika claims the life of Flux, and this is going south for Ohio State really quickly. Hunt for Value, Biogamer, the last ones remaining, and they're going to try to salvage what's left. Mukub is going to dodge one more Jin shot.
Oh, no!
He's not able to dodge the fourth. He's going to go down, and Ohio State is unfortunately going to be on the losing end of that team fight.
However, the gold deficit is much closer than it was. So, I mean, technically that's a loss. However, there were some benefits there. Getting a couple kills on the Gwen picking up a kill there, Corki picking up a kill is great. It's what you like to see. Gwen's going to start coming online here soon. She's dealing a ton of damage. Amazing engage from Mukub. Unfortunately, they weren't able to capitalize on it as much as they would have liked to.
Yeah, that CC kept him in place for a long, long time, but yeah, unfortunately, OSU just not quite outputting enough damage to really capitalize on it. And as the plating falls, I was talking at least, OSU had lost a lot of it on the lanes, but that left Rift Herald was able to claim 4 mid plates, and OSU did come out on top out of all the plate gold. So. And
it's just so unlucky for Blue. He doesn't ever have time to cycle the guns. If he would have had the root, I believe it's just the purple gun there, that probably would have won one fight for OSU, but that's just part of playing Aphelios. He's very hard champion to play. We need to make sure we give him credit for that, but it's just unlucky he doesn't have the right gun at the right time.
Yeah, it's hard. It's a hard champ to play, but eventually you've got to come down and realize, I mean, he did pick the champ. So if he's not comfortable with it, we might be able to criticize him in the fact that he should have gone for something else, but I'm not willing to yet. He can certainly still scale. He can certainly still show us that he's got the chops to play this champion. So.
All right, I'm going to be freak for a minute here and talk about the Gwen build path and LS as well. So something about Gwen that a lot of people don't know is the way her passive works between that and the second component she has there. It's actually more optimal to buy the Blasting Wand when building towards Riftmaker, because the healing actually doesn't scale that well because the healing her passive also does. So it's more gold efficient to build that before you build into the second component there.
Yeah, something to consider, but I was holding my breath there because Ohio State actually had a chance to steal that Rift Herald. It got smited down to 6 HP, but fortunately Clover is not punished for the slightly clumsy smite that they leave behind. Oh, but speaking of getting punished, an amazing hook gets hit, and a double kill is claimed by Jin. That is really unfortunate. The ADC picking up those kills, able to build a lot more, and that's not good.
No, and we're going to see the mid tower fall here, possibly T2 fall here. It's more likely than not going to get a charge off, especially with Bio caught out here. There's just no world where you get away from that. That's unfortunate. But if you're looking at OSU, if you're OSU right now, you're going to look at it. We're definitely down gold. They don't know how much, but they're about 4,000 gold down right now. But if we look, Ornn is about to get his tier fully sacked, as well as Corki.
Oh my goodness, yeah, losing this mid-turn on their inhib this early is going to be really, really rough. It makes team fights just have way higher stakes for OSU than it does for Clover. Oh, but speaking of team fighting, Mukub is going to come up here with a lot of good damage. Sure is going to get a kill for it, but they're also going to have responded. Oh, and this Jin is going to ult. He is able to claim and read the flash, taking out the, oh my gosh, taking out the Aphelios, and Hunt for Value almost went down as well.
Biogamer looking to re-engage. Still moving. Here we go. 200 years of experience.
Oh, Biogamer, what a good response kill. Is he going to be able to get Zika too? Oh, some good movement is able to keep him away, and now he's going to have to run from the Jin. Ooh, barely able to go away from that, but that was a really good response from Biogamer. Getting something out of that team fight definitely is going to help OSU a lot.
Yep. About a 3,000 gold deficit right now. Second Drake's about to come up, or third Drake's about to come up, excuse me. Mountain Soul. Great soul once again. Luckily, we weren't treated to something lame like the, Cloud Soul. It's very boring, not fun to watch. This is definitely much more interesting. However, having a shield about a third the size of your HP bar really early on, basically all the time, isn't a lot of fun to play against either.
Yeah, I mean, really, any of the souls are something that any team is going to be looking to claim. If not just because your team benefits from it, but also just as a way to deny opportunity to the other's team. So, always something to look out for.
I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this. Twitch chat is calling for the Ezreal 24/7. Do we
Yeah,
think Ezreal
well,
would have been better here?
I'm not quite sure. OSU's going to lose 2 people in this team fight, and I got to be honest with you, I don't know if Ezreal would have been able to flip it there.
Yeah, probably not. However, the AoE, oh, Blue's going to get caught out by the Hex Tech.
Well,
That's unfortunate.
You know what? Even though I just said Ezreal wouldn't be able to turn the fight, Ezreal would have been able to escape in that scenario.
This is true. Hex Tech Ultimatum is your nightmare if you are an ADC main. I envy all of you out there.
Yeah, well, in the chaos of everything that just happened, Clover does take the Earth Drake there, and they inch their way just that much closer towards Soul. And the game goes on.
Despite the gold deficit, top lane, or I'm sorry, the jungle is making up for a bit of that. Gwen's doing a great job farming. Hasn't backed in a while. Definitely has the gold to finish off an item. Not sure why she hasn't backed yet to do that. But Corki getting ready to be online here soon. That next item's getting ready to be done. Ornn with his Chem Tech, or I'm sorry, yeah. The Turbo Chem Tank is on and about to have a Thornmail, which would be great for him.
Ooh, Biogamer's locked in an intense battle with Zika, is actually able to take him out, and there's a lot of support that's coming in here to try to take out Biogamer, but Biogamer's absolutely going to capitalize on it, take down the enemy ADC, and just barely escape with their life. What an impressive display, and unfortunately it might come at the cost of Wukub's life, but Thresh is able to come in, barely save him from his own death, and man, a 2-for-nothing trade, and that just helps OSU.
All right, Affiliate's going to get picked up here by the ultimate. Wukub going back in for the re-engage, very, very risky. Unfortunately, does get punished for it, but
I really question that re-engage. His teammates really did have it under control there.
I think he did. I think he was trying to KS. Honestly, you know, you got to show off, right? But,
yeah, he probably did want to flex a little bit, but I don't think OSU is quite OSU doesn't quite have the ability to flex in this game. They're not quite winning it yet.
Not yet. However, there is time for that. It's about a 3,000 gold deficit. Not, like I said, not the end of the world. Ornn getting ready to back here, or he already backed here. His tier is fully stacked. Corki's is fully stacked and transformed. He's got that Mana Mure, which is awesome. Graves is currently building towards what I'm going to guess is a Lord Dominic's Regard. We're not sure yet. We only have part of the component. It could also be Cerelia's Grudge. I would probably lean towards Lord Dom's, but we'll see. Still don't know.
Yeah, and we did get the Gwen finally did recall, and Biogamer able to grab a Rift Maker and plated steel caps on the back. So definitely a bit of a power up there.
Yep, and we'll have to see what happens here. The Corki having a much better showing than last game. Gwen having a great showing in Ornn, putting the Camille in her place, being 1-4. Not too fun when you get camped as the top laner. So Wukub finally kind of paying that back from last game.
Yeah, definitely. And Ohio State's going to find out about this control ward next to their blue buff. They're taking it out, and Clover's still peeking around. They definitely want to retain the vision control that they've had toward Drake in the bottom river here.
Yeah, there's not much to fight for right now. I mean, Baron's up, but I don't think either team has a fast enough Baron clear. Actually, Ohio State probably has a good enough Baron clear to do it right now. However, you don't want to coin flip the game on that.
No, because the thing is like, you might get Baron halfway down, and then you've got 2 of your own people at half health. If the enemy team shows up at that point, you are just so at a disadvantage. It would hurt really bad.
OSU's going to take the second to clear out their jungle from the vision, so unfortunately that was some wasted time for Clover. They spent all that time dropping the wards just for them to get immediately wiped out. OSU's probably going to be fighting for some vision control. Here we see it again. All of these wards in the mid lane they're using to try and stop the Thresh Lantern. I almost don't think it's working. They're spending so many wards and giving up so much, but not actually getting kills out of it. That makes me wonder if it's worthwhile.
Yeah. The thing is I mean, the ward's got to be right there. It's really got to be just completely in the way of that lantern. It's not quite like you really have to coat the map to get that weird interaction to work.
And they're just going to clean it out. I mean, 40 gold's 40 gold. They're just handing 40 gold to Aphelios and some experience, which isn't something you want to be doing, especially when the Aphelios is behind. You're giving him an avenue to get back into this game. And once Aphelios is back in the game, it is not a fun time.
Yeah, we were talking about Jhin being this kind of early to mid-game ADC and definitely taking the advantage over Aphelios here, but the later and later this gets and the more and more Aphelios can scale, it's just going to get worse for Clover, and the damage output for OSU will only scale up with that, so...
However, we do have to point out there's a 10-1 Jhin on the bot side with a finished LDR and a Gale Force and a Rapid Fire Cannon. So his range is huge and his damage is crazy, but if OSU can weather this storm and ride it out till Aphelios starts to scale up, I think they're going to be just fine.
Yeah, and speaking of being just fine, Biogamer has just been so oppressive toward these solo areas of the map. He's been able to bully Zika quite a bit and is able to claim probably the topside Gromp here.
Yep, with Ornn right there, there's nothing you really have to worry about. There is the Winter's Approach picked up by Ornn, which is just got transformed into Fibble Winter. So he gets I believe 8% of his magic, or 8% of his mana pool given to him as bonus health, which is a lot if you're Ornn. Ornn has a surprisingly large mana pool on top of the mana given to him by the item. So he's going to be an absolute brick wall right now.
Oh, there's a bit of a race here going on for inhibs, and OSU might be coming out at the bottom of it. Their best players just teleported in and is able to CC a lot, and just able to take out Young. Mookub's health bar is still looking all right for Ornn. He does get rooted, but Flux gets a hook. Hunt for Value deals a lot of damage, able to take down the Nautilus, but the Jhin is still alive. The Flux almost hits that hook. Hitting that hook would have meant death for that Jhin, but unfortunately, Zika takes down Flux, and their inhib stays safe for now, but it definitely is not what you want for Ohio State.
Biogamer might be able to get some cleanup kills here for... Yep, that's huge. Not going to be able to get the Camille, though. Camille is very mobile. Actually, I lied. Might be able to get the Camille. Got the flash and the hook shot. Unfortunately, the ult goes wide, but I don't know if you're going to be able to pick up the kill here.
Oh, yeah.
Not.
Decides not to chase over that wall, but Biogamer absolutely coming out on top of that. And
note, Ornn, level 14 now. Every single level, OSU is going to get stronger and stronger. I would argue right now with the two Ornn items that the gold difference is null. And OSU is going to try and go for this quick Baron sneak.
Yeah, you were talking about this, and OSU's absolutely pulling out the damage. They've got a half-health Baron already, and Nautilus is going to be the first one to engage, and their jungler Graves is a little far behind. I don't think he's going to get there in time. He absolutely will not. OSU is able to claim Baron, and that's quite an advantage for them to get with being... Well, I did say that they were going to be down in gold, but that Baron claim evens it right up.
Yep, that's even gold. However, Soul Point is coming up here in about 3 minutes. You cannot afford to give up the Mountain Soul as a front-to-back team-fighting team. Aphelios finishing up item number 2 here on the bottom side with the Bloodthirster. I'd imagine we're going to see an Infinity Edge coming out next. Maybe a Lord Dominic's Regard, something along those lines for some crazy damage. Camille finishing up her second item with the recent Death Dance buff. Actually makes a lot of sense. It also slows magic damage now instead of just physical, i.e. Corki and Gwen, and Ornn for that matter, are all going to be dealing a little bit less damage.
Yeah, and definitely, as you were talking about, like, you don't want to lose the Mountain Soul. The thing is, Baron is temporary. Baron stays with you for only a small amount of time. If you claim that soul, that's the rest of the game. For the rest of the game, you have a shield that's almost a third of your health, which would be very useful to OSU in this team fight, who's going to have to try and dodge these Jhin ults, but now that Mookub is the front line blocking everybody, that Jhin just deals no damage to Mookub.
That is, that's... Wow. It looks like, actually, I'm full on board with what Mookub's going for. It looks to me like he's going to start building towards a Frozen Heart here with that chainmail. Hopefully that's what he's going for. That would be great against this composition, considering they have a Jhin whose attack speed would be slowed, as well as Camille. Camille's Q entirely relies on her auto speed, and Graves would take a huge damage shot as well.
Yeah, all of them would be hit hard by that item, and definitely a smart move from Mookub to go for that. And by the way, as we've been talking about, and as you brought up, Ornn has slowly been upgrading these items. This Aphelios has an upgraded Gale Force, and Gwen's got an upgraded Riftmaker right now, so dealing a lot of damage with this. And Zika and Biogamer are going to get into a skirmish in this bot lane, and Biogamer's damage is just insane. Zika gets off a little hit, and then half of her health bar is gone.
And that was with the damage reduction, too, that she has through Death's Dance. So that that would have been even worse. It slowly bled, but the damage is kind of crazy. I do like that we are seeing a lot more LDRs right now instead of the Collector, as we all know that Collector is the least optimal purchase in this case. So hopefully that's what Blue is working towards and not a Collector. We'll find out here soon with this next item purchase. We're going to see 2 of those come out on the side of Clover. So their autos are just going to deal so much damage.
Biogamer is going to run past this and that's Nautilus, and oh, not quite able to get off the damage. Biogamer can take a lot, but is actually able to take down Nautilus, and they might be able to follow up on the last boat, but they're going to have to make it through this Jhin ult. And oh my gosh, Corki comes flying in, deals so much damage with his abilities, is absolutely stomping through Clover right now, able to claim the 3rd kill, and that's going to give the Drake to Iowa State and deny Clover Dragon Soul.
Wow. What an absolute Chad move from the Corki. I wouldn't have even thought to go in on that, but he knows his limits. And if you look at the build on Corki, he finished up his Mythic, he has the Muramana, and he just finished his Essence Reaver, and he just got a huge gold payout for that. He's going to back and be really strong when he comes back, and he's approaching that level 16. He's going to be unstoppable here soon.
Yeah, and Blue Team, or Ohio State, simultaneously claiming a Drake and getting just a little bit further on the mid there, taking another turret down. This game could flip here soon if Clover is not careful. They're losing all their advantages, and in fact, the gold advantage is completely gone for them. Ohio State's 4K gold up.
Yep. However, it is still a soul point for Clover, so one bad team fight in about 4 minutes from now could cost OSU the game.
Yeah, it's something you have to be constantly worried about when soul point is on the battlefield. All team fights they mean so much more when that soul is up. So.
But right now, there are no objectives on the map, so I guess it's going to be the jungle objectives for the time being. Going to go after all the farm they can, try and farm up for the next at least minute and 30. I don't think we're going to see a Baron fight right before Mountain Soul. We could, considering that is the next objective, but we will have to see what happens. Somebody would have to make a mistake. I believe if somebody does get caught out, there will be a Baron take and then a Mountain Soul, or go for the Mountain take. But aside from that, it's probably just going to be a scuffle until then.
Yeah, both teams would definitely look to poke until then. Get all the little bits of damage they can off. But Mookub, here he is, upgrading another item, and that Corki now has an upgraded Immortal Shield Bow. So we just saw the insane damage he just output before that, and now he's just got his item upgraded by Ornn. So it's going to be really scary to look at that guy now.
Yep, and Corki is halfway done with whatever his next item is. It could be Infinity Edge, considering he has the BF sword and a agility cloak. We're not sure yet. We can only be certain once he finishes it. It looks like Aphelios is working on finishing up his LDR. Thankfully, that's the correct item to build in this situation, I believe. But as the game draws on, that Aphelios gets more and more fed. This is going to get scary. And wow.
Ooh, Young is able to catch Hunt for Value off guard and is able to actually take him down. That is going to be a juicy bounty for Young to claim.
That shield bow almost saved his life, but I think if he would have turned around instead of running, he might have actually won that, considering you get a big vamp damage from shield bow when it procs.
Yeah, it's something to consider, but it looked like the Baron has just gone up, and OSU is hanging around that side of the map. I doubt they're going for it, though. I think they're just trying to apply some pressure to make sure Clover can't grab it while they're down 5-4.
And that's exactly what I was saying. As soon as they got a pick, they're going to make a move on Baron. That makes the most sense. Corki will have his TP, so I think OSU's best chance is to stall here or try and pick the fight. Hope Corki TPs in on time. Huge Ornn ult.
3-person Ornn ult, and Zeke is going to go down to blue. Yep, or Biogamer is actually able to grab the kill, and now there's a team fight. Zonias are popping. Everybody's going for each other, and health bars are just hanging on by a thread until Flux hits a hook and OSU Blue takes him down. And now OSU Blue is just going to chase him down. Oh, the Jhin pulls up the ult, but it's mistimed, causes the Corki to come over the wall, finish him, and OSU finishes the enemy mid laner. All that is left is Graves for Clover, and Ohio State takes a firm lead after that team fight.
Wow, Corky making up for it at the very end there. That was not going OSU's way till the Corky showed up and canceled the General. But that was beautifully played. This could be the game, honestly. They have enough minions and they can push fast. Oran's going to recall and try and TP onto a minion to hold turret aggro. They could go for this if they really wanted to.
Yeah, OSU's dancing back and forth right now. They're determining what they want to do, and they have decided that they're going to take these 2 Nexus towers. Are they going to be able to follow up on the Nexus itself? Oh, they're dealing a lot of damage. Yeah, this game's over.
That is good game. And ladies and gentlemen, we have ourselves a series.
Yeah, that was much better. Much, much better as an Ohio State fan. It was a lot of fun to watch, and we were talking about the top being the difference in the first game, and that Ornn, the absolute value he's able to. I don't know how many Jhin ult shots that he tanked. I don't know. He upgraded all the mythics on his team. He made a huge difference, and the damage from Corky was just able to seal so many of those team fights for OSU.
I have 2 words for you. Top diff. Okay?
Top diff,
unfortunately,
baby.
the Camille didn't get as fed as she would have liked to early in the game, and she couldn't scale as well as she wanted to. Ornn just got that early solo kill despite losing his flash really early on in the battle. And he just took his time, skilled up, played it right, played it well, and was able to upgrade his team's items, exactly like we were saying. They were down gold, but they did have those upgraded items that entire time, which were honestly even in the gold gap, if not putting them ahead. So I'd like to see the same type of style instead of playing that risky Lulu style for Game 3.
Yeah, OSU definitely, they're not a stranger to strange styles. They love to do that kind of stuff Game 1, from what I've noticed, but afterwards they tend to revert back to what we see here, where it's a more traditional team setup, and they tend to clean it up. Last weekend just saw they were losing a bit in the early game. They lost a lot of ground. They lost Soul Point, but then at that point they came together. They team fought well, and geez, look, this damage from OSU. Everybody is contributing a lot to that, except Thresh, but he's a support. He's allowed to be.
And that's what I was talking to about the damage of Ornn. It is so just people underestimate it. And Ornn dealt more damage than the Camille. Granted, the Ornn had a lot of kills, and that's just going to happen sometimes. But the damage from that Syndra, if that game went on a little longer, I would have been worried that Syndra could have gotten out of control.
Well, one interesting thing I'm seeing here is Graves' damage is surprisingly low to me. He really did not have a big impact on that game, which I guess makes sense. I wasn't talking about him the whole time. I was watching the team fights and stuff, and he just didn't seem to have much to say.
He was there to cover for his team, and I think that was his goal. He spent a lot of time farming, more so than Gwen did. But then Gwen still had a CS lead, so I don't know what that was about. But he spent a lot more time ganking. I think he was trying to be more of a team player, try and help those lanes that were winning. He spent a lot of time bot lane. Bot lane was doing really well. But fortunately, the Gwen was there to cover a lot of the time, so it was like 3v3 scuffles in the bot lane.
Yeah, that Gwen had a lot of crucial picks in the game. There was a lot of end-of-team fights where it looks like Clover was able to claim an advantage, and then Gwen just comes in right at the tail end of it, picks off 1 or 2 of them, and then is able to leave with their life, and I think that did make a difference at the end of the game.
And I think we actually got to see the Corky actually got to do something this game.
Yes, that Corky powered up that game.
Especially that dive towards the end of the game there in the bot lane. That was way more damage than I would have ever anticipated seeing out of the Corky. I didn't think he was going to do that much damage yet. I thought he needed an extra item to do that, but apparently I don't know what I'm talking about. That Corky, whew.
Yeah. What a spicy second game. That was a whole lot of fun to watch, and soon enough, we're going to have a third for all of you, but before that happens, we're going to have a quick break here. So we will see you all soon for Game 3. Oh.
There we go.
Okay. Sorry about that, but we are now live again. We're ready to jump into draft and into Game 3 of this very exciting, quite back-and-forth series so far tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the first game, OSU kind of got stomped, not going to lie. And second game, OSU kind of stomped the back half. So if we had to go by the averages, this game should be really close and to the end.
We'll see. We'll definitely see. But we are going to get a little peek at the draft here. And Draven's been banned 3 times in a row. And there goes the Zeri. OSU just does not want to see that again after what happened the first game.
I don't even know if the Zeri was that OP. I think she just got lucky and got a couple kills early. I think it's what it was. We're going to see the Hecarim ban again, Kindred again, just generic target bans. I wonder if we're just going to have a run back at the last draft. except no Corki.
There goes the Corki. They let it in for the second game and got punished for it. So this time they are gonna take it out.
The Diana gonna be banned away here.
Yeah, I think OSU did that every time. I believe that's a targeted ban, and a Riven on a Gangplank. So the Gangplank was targeted. At least that's what I would assume. Oh, we have Gwen jungle again.
I'm totally okay with that. I think that's a good pick. I don't know if it's very good in the Riven, but we'll have to see the rest of the comp to make that decision. I think Gangplank, I don't know how I feel about Gangplank. There's a Zenza I was talking about. Galio, interesting pick, considering there's a Gangplank on the table, but we'll see where that goes.
Yeah, that's quite the... Ooh, are we going to go to Tristana mid pick? Oh, yes. Oh, I love to see that. I love seeing Tristana mids. They're so much fun.
The last time I saw Tristana mid was Perks on C9 playing Tristana mid. It's been a while since I've seen it.
It's been a minute, but we're going to get a treat here. Hunt for Value used to be an ADC player. That's what they've played for most of their career. They've recently gone to mid lane, so I'm betting that there's a level of comfort with playing Tristana mid.
So this guy is just NA Perks. Baby Perks.
Sure.
Yeah, we're going to go with that.
We've got OSU Perks right here,
we go,
in our mid lane.
Bot to mid and Tristana. What are we going to see for our last ban here? How I'm feeling so far, I feel like this comp falls off very, very hard for Clover. I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah, it's definitely a comp that's pretty early game focused, and it looks like Clover's going to try their hand at the Aphelios, plus a Rakan in the bot lane. That's a very different support than we've seen all of tonight.
Well, even not even just tonight. Generally, you don't see Aphelios picked with Rakan. So I'm not sure why they banned Thresh and then picked Aphelios. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me. You could have just first picked it if you really didn't want them to have it, but...
Yeah, Aphelios was not the game breaker for OSU last time, though. That's definitely not the pick that won him the game, but...
However, we'll have to see how Aphelios does piloted by somebody else. Triple ADCs coming in here, I would argue. I count Gangplank as an ADC, to be honest, half the time. I mean, that's all he does is straight damage, right?
His barrels really can take a chunk out of your health bar.
So there's a lot of ADs here on the side of OSU, which makes me wonder why there's a Galio pickup, because Galio is known for being good into a lot of AP heavy comps. But Gwen and Tristana, I don't think are... I don't know exactly why the Galio was picked.
Yeah, I think we'd have to see the pro draft, I think, to really get the full picture there.
Yeah,
but
it's got to be an ultimate kind of thing. Maybe it's for a global. But at that point, wouldn't you just play Twisted Fate if you're looking for global coverage?
That's what you'd think. That is what you'd think. But yeah, I wonder. I mean, one of the things that I always think in these kind of leagues is it could just be a comfort pick.
This is true.
Like, if you've gotten to the third game, this is kind of high stakes here. This is when it's the do or die game. Sometimes you just revert to what you know. You're not trying anything new. You just gotta get the win instead of like trying to advance the meta or anything. So
you're absolutely right. Comfort does matter. I would argue just as much, maybe even more than composition does, especially at this level. It's almost like a ranked game sometimes.
Yeah.
But we'll have to see how this one plays out. We'll especially want to keep an eye on that top lane and mid lane matchup going into Game 3. And while we wait for the spectator to go ahead and get in, we're going to go ahead and cut it to a break.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the stream. So we just had the draft, and now we've been looking at the pro draft. And, well, Justin and I have a few questions after looking at the order of everything. Would you like to go into what we have?
Yeah, I'm just confused. Looking at the draft here, it was a first pick on we first picked Aphelios, and Thresh was banned in the second round, and they picked Rakan on R2, or on pick 2, if you will, which doesn't make a lot of sense to me why you're picking Rakan with Aphelios. Maybe there's some tech there that I don't know that I'm missing, but why are you banning Thresh at that point? You should probably just be picking it up for yourself. As well as the Galio was picked after Jinx, Gwen, and Gangplank were all locked in for OSU, which those are 3 champions you don't want autoing you as Galio. So the Tristana was a counter pick for the Galio, and the Riven was a counter pick for the Gwen. But we're still just trying to figure out what's going on with that and why you would lock Galio and Rakan here. It doesn't make a lot of sense to us.
Yeah, it's just I'm not quite sure. Maybe they have something up their sleeve that we're just not aware of. But I'm with you in the fact that when you grab Aphelios first pick and then you aren't denied the Thresh, it almost seems like an auto pick to me. But even not just that, but like if you can get another hook champ at least to go with Aphelios. But Rakan's not a hook. Rakan does have really good engage. Rakan has good tools. He's a good support, but it's just not who we envisioned going with Aphelios.
I think Rakan's really good in this game, but I don't think that Aphelios is who I would have paired him with. I would have paired it with a Jinx maybe a Jhin that's kind of okay. It's not great, but I think Rakan would be better if there were ADCs that worked better with him in the meta right now, like Xayah. If Xayah was better, you'd like to see that. You like to see, well, really, that's about it. Jinx was the other option, but Jinx was picked away, but they could have first picked it if they really wanted that, but who knows. But hopping into the game here, we do have a Tristana mid, like we were talking about, with one of my favorite skins. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, doesn't look like anybody's crowding up at the start of this to look for any early advantages. Both teams are playing it a little bit safer, and I don't think we're going to see any early exchanges here before the first camps and the first minions spawn.
Yep, and I think from the way things are laid out here, both junglers, it looks like we're going to see an early top gank from Clover, if I had to guess right now. That top lane's incredibly volatile. We know that Riven's going to be going for the kill because he opted to take Ignite over the TP, which is a very, very clear sign you're going to try and kill Mukub very early. And if you're them, hopefully knock them out of the game. We're starting this game off with a Cloud Drake, which means we're not going to have a boring one in the end. Obviously, we'll find out what it is a little bit later. But for the meantime, no, we're going to have a great end of this game.
Oh, yeah. The Soul's absolutely going to be worth fighting for, and it'll have a big impact on the game. So we will see when that comes around what comes of it. But, yeah, in the meantime, all these laners are they're looking to grab their farm. They're looking to grab their early advantages. And
I think we're going to have a pretty dry bot lane for a while. We have, once again, Exhaust on blue. He seems to be a big fan of that Exhaust rather than bringing heal. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that all the time, but I don't think it's the worst thing he could bring. Top lane's going to be where we want to watch this game, if I had to guess. Leona going in with a really early hook.
Ooh, that was very early. An attempted grand entrance from Rakan. Rakan is just so mobile with his W and his E. And OSU Blue's actually getting a lot of damage off. Rakan is in a lot of trouble and is able to be taken out. First blood to Ohio State.
Wow, what a great play from Flux. He's kind of been sleeping a little bit most of this series, but he decided to wake up, and it's his time to play.
Yeah, and speaking of the bot skirmish, there are only 2 summoner spells left now in the bot lane. Rakan has his Ignite, and OSU Blue has Exhaust, and the first gank is going to be claimed by Clover. So a quick response. Galio getting some help in that matchup against Tristana that we've been saying is going to be really rough for him.
Yep, and as we'd expect, Gangplank getting the early push. Your Riven, you literally can't do anything to him if you wanted to for the first little while. He's just going to parlay you on repeat, and there's not much you can do about it. We'll probably see a tier come out from him here soon, if I had to guess. I'm not certain, but you never know. Bot's going to try and recoup. Fortunately for them, they don't have a big CS loss. However, Jinx coming back to the lane with a pickaxe is really, really scary, considering she started with a longsword.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Missing the Doran's Blade start and going straight for that longsword. And Mukub could be in a... Oh, wait, no, sorry. I read that wrong. Mukub is still in trouble, though. The Smite's going to actually take him out. Not the Smite, the Ignite. And Biogamer's here to try to trade, but Lospa was able to come in, able to help with the gank and secure a double kill, securing a top lead for Clover.
Yep, that was just a really great read. Xin Zhao knew something was up, figured it out. Fortunately, Mu makes it back to catch his wave and collect on it. Tristana, once again, as you'd expect, shoving this wave in really hard against the Galio, who can't do anything to him. Because he knows Xin Zhao is not going to be there for a while. He just ganked, so he's got to go start clearing his jungle. He knows he has a couple minutes till he's got to play safe again. I'd imagine he's going to shove this and probably go for a recall here soon.
Yeah, definitely something of note. This Tristana has just some of the best wave clear and push in the game. So a lot of pressure could be put on this Galio, who's not exactly good at pushing minions back. So
Nope, and I mean, it's a range versus melee matchup to start. This is going to happen every single time. It doesn't matter what happens. Tristana's just going to be pushing, because Galio can't do anything about it. He does have the Doran shield, and he's going to have Ninja Tabbies here soon, which will help. Ooh, Zika about to clean up Moocrab.
A lot of damage on the Moocub, and he's going to not be very happy about that, but a little bit of health regen, chugging a potion, and he's able to get back in there a little bit, so.
Moocrab. I don't know where that came from. Moocub. That's, looks weird. But fortunately, the Ignite wasn't up for Riven. Otherwise, he would have died, and he's going to get flashed on and die anyways.
Yeah, Xin Zhao with an excellent W, closing the gap and knocking him up. That is quite the attack, and yeah, this Galio seems to be holding his own against the Tristana for now in middle, so. But while all that's happening, it seems that Ohio State has decided to converge on this Drake, and Clover is... Jungler is just too far away. They're not going to contest this. First Drake's going to go to OSU.
That was very unfortunate. Now, we'll have to reevaluate this at the end of the game, but I don't know if you've noticed this, but Game 1, OSU lost. They got first drag. Game 2, Clover got first drag, and they lost. So we'll have to check in on that later, but...
In fact, it seems to be the team that is at Soul Point loses the game. So
yeah, that is really weird.
That's been the pattern for these past 2 games.
I think it's because the teams are going all in on that drag strat and making the mistake when it comes to Soul. I think it's what's happening there. Looking at the CS and the gold deficit, about 1.3k gold lead for Clover. Most of that is laying in the top side right now because Bio is doing a great job of farming, up 14 CS in the Xin Zhao as you'd expect. Galio doing a pretty good job holding his own despite laning against a Tristana. And Blue up on about 9 CS right now. So not that bad considering they're 3 kills down, but...
Yeah, interestingly, this Galio up on CS against the Tristana. Definitely not something I was expecting here. And seems like Galio might be wanting to roam toward this top side.
He is level 7 with his ultimate. Therefore... we're probably going to see an ult here soon. But there are 3 people topside, and I don't know that Riven knows this.
Yeah, Zika's moving in and is going to regret that here as Ohio State just converges, but Zika's actually able to grab a kill before it all goes down. Gangplank returns, but that is impressive that Riven's able to grab a kill before going down there.
Welcome to Riven Gaming. Ignite plus Riven R means you die, especially if you're Gwen and you can't do anything about it. Bio going with the correct build this time around, starting off with the Blast Wand going in the correct direction. We like to see that. Gangplank starting with the Kendall gem is quite interesting, but it looks like Blue's going to get dove here in a couple seconds.
Yeah, Clover's definitely looking at it, but this Tristana's coming around, and so's BioGamer. There's a lot of people converging around this Drake pit right now, but neither team is quite going to be willing to jump on the other team just yet.
Oh, so wow, that
Laspa actually able to hit the tip of the spear on Xin Zhao, and now both teams are going to converge on each other. Ooh, big damage coming in, but each team so far holding on. BioGamer goes down. Is OSU going to be able to trade, or are they just going to run with what they have? Seems like they're just going to run. Unfortunately, they were not able to put out enough damage to justify a chase onto them, so.
Riven Gaming. Poor Gangplank. There's just nothing he can do for now. Gangplank's not the strongest champion in the game early game. I was saying he does get a good amount of poke early on because of his Q. That's just the fact that he's ranged. Unfortunately, he's going to die here, I think. Yep, Triump saves him from the minions. He's going to walk back and keep on claiming those turret plates. Fortunately, he does know that he scales better than Riven. However, Riven is 5-1, so I'm not sure if that's a situation I'd want to be in. But it's not totally over for Moocub right now.
Yeah, this Riven is definitely in a really good spot right now, but this bot lane, a gank attempt from Laspa is going to just end up nowhere, and Gwen was in the area, so if a fight broke out, OSU definitely would have had their backup, but as of right now, just not much is going to come of this.
Nope. And Galio also had TP with his, Galio also had TP, so he could have TP'd in on that if he needed to. Doesn't have the ultimate, but does have his flash with the taunt if he really needed it. Aphelios really coming in clutch with the cleanse he's been having. Rakan doing a great job engaging. I know we were knocking that pick earlier, but it seems like it's working for him. So I wonder if it was a knock-up thing. Maybe that's what they were going for. Riven has a knockup, right? Zenzal's a knockup. They all have knockups, except for Philios.
Yeah, well, the ADC is not always the spot you look at for crowd control anyway, so.
However, Philios does have crowd control. He has the root.
That is true, yeah.
So maybe
he's
this
got a
is just
root.
like some super weird CC heavy comp that they were going for.
Yeah, definitely a possibility, but Clover is going to be able to claim Rift Herald here. They're going to capitalize on this top advantage that Riven from Zeka is able to just make space on the Moo Cub. Gangplank not having the good early game to contest this kind of thing. And yeah, they take the Herald.
However, Moo Cub does now have the plated steel caps, which is going to help a lot. And he has the Sheen. So that poke is going to deal that much more damage, which is great for him. Let's see if... Oh, nope. Everybody's going to show. Zika knows something's up. BioGamer's going to back up, realize he's wasting time. He's going to hit the road. However, he does have a 26 CS lead, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, definitely an interesting little interaction there. It definitely could have gone south for either team. They were both amassing forces, but I think they both saw their hands, and neither team's quite willing to team fight yet. But Limit Tester is willing to go in on this Gangplank, and Moo Cub flashes away. I don't know if he's going to be able to do anything about it. Yeah, he flashes, and it just doesn't amount to anything. Zika takes the kill, and Limit Tester with a great support roam there.
And I don't know if you saw that, but Gangplank did call in the ultimate down in the bot lane, which amounted to nothing, unfortunately. However, despite the bad trade on the top side, this is going to be a 11-minute dragon, second dragon for OSU. Soul will be here, be revealed here in just a couple seconds. And it is going to be, waiting for the map to transform. We're not sure yet. The Hex Tech
Gates,
map.
there we go.
All right, for those who do not know, Hex Soul, once you get it, basically creates a static shiv effect on your attacks that slow enemies. So it's really advantageous for comps that have a lot of range, i.e. a Gangplank, a Tristana, and a Jinx.
Oh, this is really unfortunate for Moo Cub. He is just losing so much on this top lane.
However, he just outplayed the crap out of that. Look at that.
He just outplayed the crap out of that guy. But Zika is still closing in on him here, and he's running away, and I just don't know if he's going to be able to make it anywhere.
Yep, he's out.
He is actually able to make it out.
Zen Zhao died to the minions. Very unfortunate.
Yeah, it does happen, but while that was all happening, that was a Rift Herald on top, so all 5 plates claimed and gone off of that top tower, which is certainly a gold lead that Zika's going to appreciate very much.
And the bot lane just farming turret plates for free right now is not great. Hopefully Flux does not just walk into the... which is exactly what's about to happen. Except Rakan just didn't do anything about it, so it's fine.
Rakan is just so slippery. You can get out of those situations just as easily as he can get into them. So.
Oh, Leona's going in. They're going all in on this. Aphelios doesn't have any mana.
Quite the stun, and is OSU Blue going to be able to follow up? He's not really dealing the damage right now. Flux is going to pay with their life, and so will OSU Blue.
That was looking like an amazing fight. Unfortunately, they didn't know that the Zen Zhao was just down the lane. Nothing you could really do about that. The only thing you could do is get some vision. But as you can see, there is a control ward in that bush. There was no way they could have known that was happening. But when you don't know the location of the jungle, it's probably not a great idea to be picking those fights. Gangplank, on the other hand, is going to be picking the fights. Hopefully it works out for him this time, because it has not been so far.
Yeah, Gangplank is dealing a little bit more damage. He's starting to scale a little bit better, but unfortunately Zika is just so fed right now and is going to be able to claim this second tower on the top side, and this is a huge weak point for Ohio State now.
Yeah, I mean, once again we see it. It's just I don't think Moo Cub played poorly. I think the other team just played around Zika and gave him everything he needed, where Moo Cub was kind of hung out to dry. I mean, if you're playing Gangplank, you're probably playing weak side to begin with, and he's trying his best.
He is trying his best, but it's just not going to be enough quite yet. We're going to wait to see how the scaling goes, but as for now, Riven is just having however she wants on the top lane. So,
despite being down 20 CS, fortunately for Gangplank, he does have his passive, so he gets extra gold. Or he gets the Silver Serpents that basically gives him extra gold. And he got the 2 kills. So he's not that far behind the rest of the enemy team. If you count the Riven, he's very far behind. But looking at the rest of the team, he's pretty on par. He's about to finish his Mythic. or he will be here soon, and he'll be more of a threat. But he's not going to be a threat for at least 15 more minutes, if I had to guess.
Yeah, certainly OSU is really going to need to play the long game here, as now they're even getting invaded by the enemy. This is just a really unfortunate seeing here, but Xin Zhao and this Galio is just playing well. It's an early game lead for Clover, and they're going to engage in a bit of a team fight. OSU not aware of how many people are in the jungle. That's going to cost him dearly. Biogamer goes down. Mukub goes down second. Flux is under heavy pressure, and the Felios finishes him off. Triple kill for Clover as they just extend their lead.
That is a 7-1-1 Riven that still has flash. Unfortunately, you're going to die almost every single time there. It's Tristana. Luckily, he gets away. But that was not the fight they were looking for. Hopefully, they don't drop... Oh. They do not drop the inhibitor here. Doing so is not exactly the most optimal thing you could do. That's not good. Technical difficulties.
Turret has gone down, but we are we're experiencing a slight issue here.
Oh, there we go.
Okay.
We got it back.
Sorry about that. We are back. OSU has actually saved their inhibitor on the top side, which is a very good sign, but the one advantage that they're going to have here is they're at 2 Drakes to none right now.
Uh-oh,
Biogamer is going to
invasion.
see the 3 Hextech people running through there, and they're going to get out of there fast. They know that they can't win a team fight right now.
That could have been really, really bad. Fortunately, they got spotted out on the way over there. OSU going to rotate up for this Rift Herald. I don't know that they want to take this fight when they're down 8,000 gold. But, yeah, they're going to back off as soon as they see what's going on. It looks like they're going to go ahead, and Clover is going to go and pick up the Drake down at the bottom. So not soul point for OSU, which means they can't lose yet. But Clover eventually growing closer and closer to that overlooming Hextech soul.
Yeah, it's something that we're going to have to watch out for, and Clover is going to be able to grab Drake and Rift Herald uncontested, and, well, when you've got an 8,000 gold lead, that's kind of the results of it.
Yeah, all you can really do here if you're OSU is look for a pick and try and clean something up. I think your option of scaling up is a little gone at this point, but there's nothing they can really do now except for trying to weather the storm. And Ezreal's going to go for the engage here. Fortunately, going to miss most of his knockup.
Well, Limitister actually gets a lot of damage done on them, and that could have been the pick that they were looking for, but doesn't amount to much. They lose yet another turret, and a lot of damage going out, actually. Sure is able to claim a kill, and Hunt for Value trades on a Limit Tester, but another kill comes in, and Sure becomes the top member of Clover as far as dealing damage and winning this team fight.
And Clover is just so fed at this point. They're just ignoring the turret altogether. They've walked right through it, but they might have overstayed their welcome. Bio's walking up, but unfortunately it doesn't work out for him. But the Gangplank's here. Going to make an attempt. Unfortunately, doesn't get anything out of it.
Riven is just so fed right now. Riven's got Gore Drinker, Death Stance, and Plated Steel Caps already. There's just so much tank, so much damage to go around for Riven that she's just absolutely dominating right now.
There's a lot of gold shutdowns on the table for OSU if they could get to it. I'm surprised the objective bounties are up. I don't know if they're going to be enough. They can hope. With the objective bounties and the kills, you're probably looking at least, you're still about 3,000 gold down. So if I'm OSU, I'm going to start trying to work towards those objectives and try and clean up at least 1 bounty or 2.
Yeah, it's just going to have to be their route back into this game. OSU needs to claim some of these objectives. They need to just ward off the onslaught that Clover's bringing toward them, because this 8k gold deficit is nearly an item a person on Clover, which is just is making team fighting absolutely impossible for Ohio State right now.
Yeah, I mean, even look at the supports. Flux hasn't even been able to finish his first item yet. Tristana and Jinx are on the almost exact same build. Actually, Jinx has a little bit less gold there, where Aphelios is on his second item. Riven is about maybe 1,400 gold away from a 3rd complete item. Like, it's just crazy. Gangplank, on the other hand, finishing up his Triforce, about to be on a, what's the item? Mortal Reminder. I'm not sure how much that's going to really help, but hopefully it will.
OSU is getting poked at in their own jungle here, and this is one of those feel-bad moments in the game where, like, your mental really gets tested because you can barely even farm in your own jungle. They're just having free reign here. They've got full vision control over that top side as well. Like, OSU is just practically pinned back into their base, and they have to take the minion farm as they can get it.
Yeah, all you can really do is fight tooth and nail for the little bit of vision you can get. But luckily, BioGlamour is going to be able to at least get a little bit of his own jungle on the bright side. He's not going to get anywhere near top side, but bot side at least. I wouldn't be shocked here if I saw Clover rotating down for the Baron, which is exactly what's going to happen here.
Yeah, this Baron could really spell the end for OSU. The empowered minions, the attack buff that they get is just going to be absolutely suffocating for Ohio State. Could be the difference, and unfortunately, because of the vision control, I don't even think OSU is going to be aware of the fact that this dragon's going down. Yeah, a quick peek over the wall from Zika, and OSU's now going to know, but there's nothing they can do about it.
Gangplank tried to give it the good old college try and snipe it. Unfortunately, that ultimate does not deal a lot of damage right now. I can't imagine he has enough Silver Serpents to have that, to have his art upgraded that much. Look at that shield on Aphelios. That is insane. That is a Bloodthirster with the Rakan shield, and there's a that's wow. I don't think he's going to be able to die.
Yeah, all that shielding is just going to result in just such a hard time. We've got a Hextech Drake coming in here in 30 seconds, but OSU still just finds themselves so far behind. Like we've been saying, team fighting is going to be really hard, and I think Clover is just going to inch themselves even closer toward a possible Hextech Soul, if the game even goes on that long, because frankly, it's looking dire for OSU.
Yeah, and Clover's already set up on that Baron. I think Ohio State's just kind of accepted the fact they're not going to be able to have it, so they can't really walk into it. But I mean, you can afford to give up this dragon. I mean, you've got two, they've only got one. It's not the sole point, but it's not like you have a choice. So going out, getting the waves pushing and farming is the right thing to do.
Yeah, getting those waves pushed back is going to be quite helpful for them right now. But like with the Baron buff right now and just claiming an extra Drake and like the ever-present almost 10k gold deficit now. That is just, it's just so horrible.
There's always a chance. Probability may not be in Ohio State's favor. However, there is always a chance. Things happen. I think if I'm OSU, I'm going to try and push these waves out, and I'm going to be looking for a pick. But we might be seeing a turret dive here in a couple seconds if the next minion wave gets there. But I think it's going to get cleared out too fast.
Yeah, OSU is able to clear it out, and they're going to avoid getting dove for the moment. And Zika is now going to start moving toward this mid lane, and it's going to force an engage here.
That is a Leona R down, unfortunately wasted. It's not going to get anything out of it. OSU is just going to try. They're on the back foot. They're going to try the best they could, but I don't know.
They're not going to be able to contest this inhib, and their inhib is now down. Gangplank is skirmishing with Aphelios on the bot lane. Oh no, he's absolutely caught out right now. He's done. They are going to use a lot of resources to get in on him, but I just don't think it's going to matter. Oh, BioGamer actually claims a trade on Alaspa. BioGamer able to claim another one. Limit Tester is down low health. Flux is a lot of low health too, but Aphelios claims a triple kill in the midst of all the chaos. OSU Blue claims Limit Tester, but a 3-for-3 trade is not the worst thing for OSU right now, really. They need the bounty. They need the gold a lot more than Clover does, but it's just really, really unfortunate either way to lose those people.
I mean, absolutely. A 3-for-3 is never a bad thing when you're behind, except when the enemy team is walking into your base and can one-shot your team anyways. So Gangplank's going to come up here, but I don't think it matters. However, we might be getting the kill here onto the ADC.
Ooh, Aphelios gets shut down, and that is a gigantic 1,000 gold shutdown bonus. Sorry, 700 gold shutdown bonus, plus 300 for the kill.
And Leona might be finding another re-engage. Oh, just a little late.
Ooh, almost. And that's on OSU's ADC. Jinx is going to take that cash injection right to the bank.
And that is a completed Runaan's Hurricane. Granted, he is still an entire item behind, but something is better than nothing. A Runaan's Hurricane on a Jinx is a very scary thing that I would not want to have to see.
Yeah, no, even when you're ahead, you don't want to play against it, so...
And the sad thing about that whole thing is Her had not even the optimal gun combination and was still able to pick up a triple kill. He had the range combination rather than the close quarter team fighting combination, and it still worked out for him. That's just the sheer power of a triple item Aphelios with an Infinity Edge that you can't even get within a quarter mile of.
Yeah, it's just such a suffocating lead for Clover still. Like we say, there's still ways back in. We saw in that last team fight, Clover got a little bit clumsy, and it did cost him quite a bit. So
But
we
I
are
mean,
yet to see what's going to happen.
there's still a 10K gold deficit even after all of that. I don't think Gwen's gotten into her own jungle in the last little while. Like, it just gets cleaned out immediately by Xin Zhao.
Yeah, I think the last 3 of OSU's red buffs have all been claimed by Clover. Oh, it looks like Clover's gunning for another inhib here. But all of OSU is going to be here to try and stop it. Galio split pushing the bottom lane while this is all happening. OSU's going to have to make the most out of this. They're going to decide to go in. Limit Tester goes down. Flux, is there going to be able to find more engage? Oh no, so much CC! Oh, and a crashing of abilities comes down. Clover deals with what's left of OSU. Zika takes down OSU Blue, and that might be the game.
I think that is good game. There's 30 seconds left. They've got plenty of it. Got to burn everything. That was very unfortunate. I don't know if you saw everything that happened there at once. That was a Galio knockup with a Riven knockup followed by an entire Aphelios R. That was as good as it gets. That was a dream scenario for Aphelios. And unfortunately, it's going to spell a loss for the Ohio State Esports.
Yeah, all that CC is just so good for team fights, and we were clowning on the build a little bit, but honestly, OSU wasn't able to take advantage of a lot of it. Like, we didn't see the Tristana bullying the Galio very much. Got all the backup they needed from Xin Zhao. The bot lane also just really good ganks from Xin Zhao, keeping them away. Gwen was just unable to counter the map presence, and honestly, he had to spend most of his time top lane anyway because Mookub was just falling so far behind to Riven.
And if we look at this gold distribution right here, that is insane. 14,000 gold for the Riven. There was no world where the Riven was going to die. Gangplank, the richest man on OSU, despite only having 2.5 items. I don't think it would have mattered. I think OSU really needed a few more minutes, at least 5-10 minutes to scale up. But I don't even know if it would matter. The Riven was just so far ahead. And if we look at the damage, I didn't even want to see it. Almost double Gangplank's damage on Riven alone.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And that Gangplank having the most damage is also kind of sad to see with how we saw like Gwen popping off and technically just having 2 other ADCs on the team. Like Tristana and Jinx are both traditional ADCs that should output lots and lots of damage, but just didn't have the time to get online and didn't see the light of day with their builds and everything.
Mm-hmm. I mean, look at it. That if I was to look at this draft and say 1-on-1 and assume we have the best players of both situations, I would take OSU's comp every day of the week. But I guess every once in a while having a different comp, throwing some cheese works out. I mean, you had triple melees, or I guess 4 melees if you want to count the support Rakan. If you want to count Rakan in that. 4 melee champions into 3 range champions. I would have picked the range champions every time. But I think they just fell too far behind too early. Once Tristana mid falls behind, it's over. Once Gangplank gets stomped like that, it's over. They need to bully their lane to survive, and unfortunately they couldn't do that. Xin Zhao is just too mobile, too strong. Xin Zhao is Xin Zhao.
Yeah, that I think this game came down, if there was just one deciding factor, it might have been that jungle diff.
Maybe.
Because Xin Zhao securing he helped the Galio so much with that first kill on Tristana, and then just helping Riven early in the game as well, and he was just almost omnipresent, whereas Gwen for Ohio State just had nowhere near the impact this game they did last time.
And I wouldn't even say it's the player's fault. I think it was just unlucky. Remember, Xin Zhao is an absolutely amazing jungler right now. Top tier.
Yeah.
Super fast clear. And he didn't have, Xin Zhao doesn't have to farm that much to survive. Gwen needs the farm to have items. Gwen is worthless without her items. So he had to spend a lot more time out there in the jungle farming, whereas Xin Zhao could just run into a lane, gank something, and make it work. Mm-hmm. Where he knew that he had to play the support. So I think what would have made or break that comp there was I think OSU needed an early game jungler to help carry through the early. So I would have liked to see Lee Sin or Xin Zhao or Well, Lee Sin's probably the best option. Maybe even an
Yeah.
assassin jungle, something strong to help carry through that early game where they fell too far behind.
Yeah, it was just a tale of like the early game going Clover's way, and then OSU they just didn't have any route back into that game
Hmm.
because we saw all those team fights. I really think OSU made the most at the start of pretty much all those team fights, but then just the sheer amount of CC on top of the fed damage from Riven and from Aphelios and everything just suffocated Ohio State.
That Riven was wow. Incredibly in the aggro, did not give Gangplank a chance to breathe the entire game, and not to mention constantly having constantly having Zinzao in his lane, constantly having the Rakan in his lane. I can't even fault him. You can't say top gap because there's nothing he could do. He
Yeah.
might have made a mistake here or there where he pushed too far forward, but that was just
Gangplank just doesn't win those fights early on. So like, unless you're Faker himself,
Mhm.
those just are almost unwinnable for you.
And he played it right. He poked. He did the best he could. Like you were saying, you don't win those fights. You win you win the pokes, but you don't win the trades. If Ribbon gets on top of you, you are done. And you knew he was going to try. He had Flash Ignite. I mean, that's all. There's nothing you can do.
Yeah. Well, this is definitely an unfortunate loss. It's the first loss OSU has been handed in the Victoris Triumph series, so perhaps we should be happy for that so far, but I know we're going to look back on our game, maybe analyze our team comps a bit, and we'll come back stronger next week.
Absolutely. And with that being said, thank you guys for joining us, and we hope to see you on the next one.
Yeah. See y'all later.